I'ma make it there. 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 I'ma make it there.
What up? What up? Everybody, what's happening? Can you guys hear me? Somebody let me know you can hear me in the comments. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Yes, no. What up, bro? Can you hear me? Bro, can you hear me?
Yup.
All right, all right, all right. Cool.
Yeah, so what's the deal?
Ah, man, waiting on everybody else to pull up. You know, the great debate from yesterday. The culture, man, the culture.
Yeah,
We're gonna hit it on a different level today.
yeah.
I was trying to use my little setup, man. It didn't. I don't know if my mic was working. You good though?
Man, I'm like the two interlocking G's, bro. I'm Gucci.
Already.
Yeah.
Already. Let me see. Hold on right quick. Wait and see what's up, man. Shit. Yeah, bro. We just was tapping in yesterday. Them guys wanted to have them some dialogue about the culture. Who say what, how they
Oh,
feel about it, who's looking at it. Huh?
I'm hip.
Yeah. So they wanted to have them a dialogue. So we're gonna let them chop it up. I go
Yeah.
one up. We go eyeball. Salute eyeball.
Peace. What's up?
Oh, nothing, bro. Just chilling.
Right on.
Just chilling on it, man.
Yeah. Kicking
Have
back.
us a informative, opinionated, factual live.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, for real, man.
Hey.
We just waiting on for the other guy, but we can chop it up until then.
Right on. Right on. No, hey, peace to you. Peace, Heru. I was
Peace, bro.
yeah, I listened to your live this morning when I had time, and it's a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? It's a joy. What a pleasure we have to to live free and to push discourse back and forth, even virtually. Like catching it, late, and then like it trip out. Wow, somebody said my name. Interesting. Okay, so like, that's all good. It's like but it's just an interesting query and perspective. Like because the context as I heard it, and I listened back to it just before we got on here, just to make sure, and it was as such that like an outsider, like non-black participant who thinks they have some type of voice or information or influence or something to insert into the larger quote unquote so-called black, that term is problematic. It doesn't do enough. It doesn't say it, but I don't know. There I go. So let me slow myself down. Like, but just to trip out to say that, wow, Eyeball Torres got something to say about this narrative, this larger story, and I wish somebody would correct me if I ever insert myself or my thoughts, my words as such, as if they could write a story, write that story. I ain't trying to write that, you know what I mean? So that's just the short version, but it's all love, it's all peace, and I enjoy the critical discourse. That's what I do. So
Yeah.
Rick.
I mean, we can't gain common understandings in a chaotic world without conflict anyway.
agreed.
Right. So more than anything else, that's why we shouldn't be impulsive in our thought process and engage in emotionalism. Because for instance, I know a white boy, right, from Atlanta named Frank Real. And this white boy, when you see him, he got goals in his mouth, tattoos all over him. And when you talk to him, if you had your eyes closed, you would think you was listening to an old Outkast album or something. Right? Because everything Frank say to you would be, shit, goddamn, boy, we goddamn just was in the studio last night, boy, we goddamn recorded a banger, you hear me? Like, that's how he talk. So, he really is from Martell Homes, which at the time, back in the day, was one of the roughest hoods in Atlanta. And he grew up with nothing but brothers and sisters. And he ain't never had a need to want to be around people other than that. Now, of course, on the outside and what people see in the physical, he's a white boy. But based on all of the interactions that I've ever had with this dude, he ain't never showed me anything that would give me the inclination that he had a racist bone in his body, or he was against me, my culture, my people, or anything like that at all. So from the standpoint of dealing with that and understanding that human experience that I had, then me having a human experience like growing up in the South and being exposed to nothing but Christians my whole life, and then going in the military and actually going to the Middle East and being in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia for a few months and being exposed to the culture over there and learning how all of the preconceived notions and misconceptions that I had of these people and everything, it completely and totally changed the way that I viewed, all these things.
Right.
So I'm saying that to say, like, a lot of times what we should do before we even formulate an opinion on somebody or make or shouldn't be doing, or what this person shouldn't be saying, we should actually ask the questions that we need to actually gain the necessary information to decide why that person came to the conclusion that they came to. So I'm hoping that you and the brother could have that type of conversation with one another and y'all could get a better understanding of who both individuals are and where y'all stand, you know, as far as how y'all view what y'all view and how y'all see it.
Yeah, he said, give him 30 minutes. He tied up with his kids.
Oh, right on, right on.
Yeah, but yeah, that's from real dialogue.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you know,
yeah.
who like opinions and stuff like that. I just look at it like we all giving our opinion or something, or just our thought process of our studies. Maybe the facts that we kicking. It still shouldn't be no. It shouldn't be no line drawn in it, because the truth is the truth, and I don't think the truth got lines drawn in it. You know what I mean? So if people don't understand or know something, I feel like in the process where we at today and in these days and times, it's good to just ask questions. Just say, "Hey, I don't really know, or I don't understand why it's like that." Break it down, and because we're in the information age, we can get all the information we need at our fingertips. So it should be way easier to have these type of conversations and dispel the old ideologies or the old concepts, because we can go find the truth. We can get reference to the truth. This is where it's at. Go look it up and find out for yourself. It just really boils down to how much do people want to know and how much they don't want to know, or just stick to the old ways. That's how I look at it. So when I drop something and I talk about some things, it's not just based on my ideology or my concept. It's like what I went and studied up on, or just something that I might encounter that changed the way I thought about it. Cause just listening to people, just listening to you guys, I can hear things and I can be like, dang, that makes sense. See, I thought otherwise. Maybe let me rethink that. I'm not gonna say they right or wrong, but let me just really get another look at it. Nobody never told me that. So now, I mean, I'm faced with a new situation on it. Okay, let me see how I'm gonna play it out and look at it, and then come with my own information that I do my own research. And I think that's where a lot of us, we be falling out. We don't do our research.
Mhm. I agree. I agree. And I think you said should be. It should be so easy. Well, I don't know. Should it? I mean, there's a need for a fight. There's a need for not a fight, but a resistance. We all Heru spoke on that. We look inward, we look outward of ourselves, we look backward in our history, our family, we look forward to what might be. Trying to get that. And there's a context of resistance that's ever present. People say iron sharpens iron. Um, that's the thought. We push these. It's thesis. So thesis, God, right? But it's a manly made thing now into your cognitive linguistic self. You've put forth an idea, thesis, bam, hypothesis, even hypothesis, hypo, under. So you're under the thesis. You ain't even it. It's not even real yet. You're just putting forth a guess, an educated guess, as they taught us in middle school when I checked out. But the hypothesis becomes the thesis that goes forth in a constructed grammar. You got a grammar, you got a syntax about. Malcolm taught this. He said,
Right.
look, master the master's language, deconstruct the master's house with that. Brick by brick, board by board, nail by, you can take it apart. So you have the hypothesis, the God-given, so it's all connected. Y'all know this, but when you're connected, when you've been connected and you stay connected, you get the original, the originality. You get that true original form, the true original thought that comes straight from God into you, the house. Aleph. Heru, you talked about Aleph and the Beit. That's it. Those are the proverbs. It's the unspoken breath that comes into the house of the flesh, and thus forth. Then you bring the camel, and you throw it. Then it goes out of you, lest you not fit through the eye. The needle, eye of the needle, with your with your sinning, with my sinning, with my extravagance and my eloquent substitution. If I'm not fully in tuned and ready to put that thesis forward and to get through that gateway, let me get through that gate and go into the inner courts. I'm speaking in code now, but
Right.
now when I'm here, there's an antithesis. I need resistance. We all need it. And all of our prophets had it. You know what I mean? And we
Right.
get it. and that thesis gets that resistance, that antithesis, which ultimately blesses us because it becomes the synthesis. That's basic like grammar, and that's like semantic, like bringing forth a meaning out of three things. Oftentimes we look at like the Venn diagram, one circle, two circle, a third circle. What's in the middle of those three circles? So like, what are you really good at? What are your talents? Circle with what are you really passionate about? Circle with what does the world need and asking from you right now? Where those three things intersect becomes this synthesis, becomes this gift, right? A giving thing, a love blessing
Correct.
of love. All right, I'm tripping out. Let me stop because but that's all what it is. You know what I mean? So like, I praise God and I appreciate any mind, you know, but I'm digressing because the brother who brought up the point, I think, was not talking about all this. His point, as I understood it, was more of a sovereignty context and situation. You know, talking about how can, you know, a black nation be sovereign in this land under this context if the gates are ever open to fools that are coming fat into the camps and just with all kinds of bullshit. And I respect that. That's what I believe. Hey,
Right.
tighten up the gates, close the gates, you know, like,
Right.
don't, you know, who gets through and why. And at this stage, and I don't speak for black people, I speak for my nation. So I come from a nation, and we have a mythology we believe, and as we call it Aslan, you know, and that's the Southwest United States, which we believe will eventually, ultimately, be reclaimed by not just the embodiment of the human and what they look like and act like and talk like and etc. organize themselves, but like the spiritual systems that we once upheld that were so perverted, destroyed and raped and torn apart, and are still totally. I mean, this is why the red nation, brother, and the black nation, as you put it with the Eagles, like this is why we've yet to form a meaningful alliance that will, in fact, you know, and why does it happen? I mean, that's a question.
Right.
It happens because in the easy way is to say, well, so-called Hispanics, as people like to, I'm a Chicano, so I recognize, I bear witness to my African and my indigenous roots. Anybody who says they're Chicano knows that they are not just paying homage to a mixture of or they're not just paying homage back to Spain and shit. Like we're saying, we have indigenous and we have African roots in us, and all of that mix came of. So in an Aslan scenario in the future, like sovereignty, where land becomes symbolic of our very survivability, and thus we are able to be in ourselves and reach those higher systems of spirituality, and thus that we become totally sovereign, not just in physical body, but in spirit and thought and land. Like all of it is interconnected. That can happen in an alliance. I'm gonna land 1 second and just say, I think it could happen in an alliance with a black nation. And why would we ever think that a black nation on this soil, right, in the USA, will ever go away or be something else or be perpetually locked down? You know, like, no. Right. And what I've heard, and now correct me, so I'm gonna stop it. And when I say Malcolm's my father, I come from that training, and that was the eye that I came through. The eye of the needle that I passed through was El Hajj Malik al-Shabazz. So trip out, whatever, you know, here I am. And so, but what I understood is like Aslan in the Southwest of the United States, we're not asking for the Southern United States, your parts of Texas into Oklahoma, Arkansas, Georgia, you know, like, so is that the land of the sovereign black nation? I don't know. But that's how I thought I understood it one time, but maybe I got it wrong. And I'll just stop there.
Yeah. Right. So I'm glad you said all that, because part of the understanding that I think that the brother is under, he's not even aware, I don't think, of all of that, first and foremost. And I think what is happening with a lot of our people is they are only looking at certain things that have us pigeonholed to certain situations that have transpired in modern history. And this is why the narrative of racism is so important to understand, because nobody wins a race in racism. And in order for a person to see past black and white, they got to see gray areas. So when you start to talk about the indoctrination and the programming that comes with both of what we would call the experience of people that are either indigenous native Americans in North America, Central America, and South America, and also people that identify with being from an African lineage that were either having ancestors that were brought to these shores, or the people that are in accord with what I know, that most of the people that we consider to be Black Americans or African Americans or whatever the case may be were really indigenous Americans that came here years and years and years before any transatlantic slave trade existed or any Europeans showed up, and they were African, and they were in places like Mexico, Peru, what we call Puerto Rico today, and many other places. So in understanding that, what we have to realize is the different infiltrations that have taken place and the different things that have taken us out of that knowing, and has brought about so much dogmatic separation between us. And a large part of it I attribute to what many don't know about is the Spanish Inquisition. So if people just knew about that, and they knew about what happened with um the Borgia Pope and what took place in 1492 when he became the Pope, and then the Spanish Inquisition started and Queen Isabella sent Christopher Columbus to these lands. And what they were responsible for doing was to bring the indigenous people to the or under the rulership of the Catholic Church. These are things that many people are unaware of, and they are unaware of the fact that um the true lineage and bloodline of the people who did it and why they were doing it, you know. So in order for people to really grasp that and understand that, they have to even understand and realize why it was such a significant thing for the Catholic Church to do it. And in doing that, they would have to begin to understand commercial law, maritime law, and what it means to be born in a place like the United States, and to understand what the difference is between the United States of America and the United States. And then if a person understands that, then they have to understand why it's so significant to know about North America, South America, and Central America. You know, so it's so much indoctrination that goes into all of this, and what we are missing the mark on so many times is the realization that we need to have that um there has to be a mending of a lot of wounds that need to take place between what we call Black and brown people, or African Americans and Mexicans, or um, Puerto Ricans, and so on and so forth. You got right now, it's a war between Haitian and Dominican people, and they still on the same island. And we got to realize like why all of these means of separation were brought into being, you know. So in doing that, I think the difference between yourself and myself and people like Neighborhood Real, we actually have done a lot of studying and research, and we are aware of a lot of different things that have happened historically that have kind of like moved the goalpost for the understanding that we need to have to realize who we really are and how closely related we should be, versus um where they have us thinking we are, and the way that the hate has been propagated so much against us and between us.
Right.
You know, I know that was a lot, but
I
No,
love.
that's it.
I
It
agree.
need to be a lot.
Yep,
yeah,
I agree.
yeah,
The Spanish Inquisition. The Spanish Inquisition is which traces its lineage to the Roman Inquisition, and there's different ways of
correct,
organizing people, systematizing groups of people, and saying this is, who these people are, those people are, and why they are, and how they should coordinate or how they should interact. Now,
right,
so like yeah, Moorish Spain until Christopher Columbus is very significant as far as how we as like native born humans here on this soil in this context under this under this nation state empire is like very relevant because it has everything to do with how we think of ourselves on in terms of race and color. So if you don't know about
right,
how Mexico was conquered by the Spanish and how the mestizaje and all of the different groupings of people and why that traces its genealogy to the Spanish Inquisition, to Moorish Spain, and to
correct,
how we conceptualize so-called melanated bodies before that, as those different worlds are interacting. It has
correct.
everything to do with who we are now and how we're considering ourselves. um
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, and more than anything else, it's one of the biggest pimp game in the history of the world is religion to put a specific group of people in a specific place socially and economically and politically to say that they were God's chosen people.
Right.
So if people if people just realize what was done from a historical standpoint in the name of God through the three monotheistic religions, then they would throw all these holy so-called holy books away, you know. Um, and they would really and truthfully begin to study and research the Catholic Church and understand just all the diabolical shit that they are connected to and who was really the driving force behind the Catholic Church. Because those so we'll see a movie like if y'all seen The Woman King recently, we'll see a movie where is this man that's a Spaniard that's being called a mulatto in the film, and then they show him with this white man and they show that they were actually coming to capture Africans and take them into slavery. What they're not showing you in that context of that film is who these people actually were, that were the ones that were financing and the driving force behind the slave trade, just like the same people were the driving force behind the Spanish Inquisition, and they were the driving force behind the creation of the three monotheistic religions, because this is how they fabricated a place for themselves on the planet and a place for themselves in a historical narrative that should have never existed, because these people were the last people to show up from a true historical timeline, but they have been the people that have gained the most power over the last 6,000 years. So if anybody really understands the true meaning behind the Yaku grafted a white devil that will rule the world for 6,000 years, and they knew exactly specifically who this Yaku grafted devil really was, it would change everything instantaneously on this planet, because the cold piece about it is that we talk about all the shit that we talk about, the devil, the boogeyman, the Illuminati, and all of these different things that we say, but most people don't know who the real perpetuators of the real evil are. So that's why when Kyrie Irving makes a statement, they move heaven and earth to shut him the fuck up. You see what I'm saying? When Professor Griff starts to talk back in the day and he starts to say yada 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 yada, and he starts to letting certain thing out the bag, he gets put out of public enemy, he gets silenced and everything else. When Khalid Muhammad makes a statement and says that this Holocaust could never compare to the African Holocaust, he gets put out of the Nation of Islam and he gets silenced. So if people begin to realize and understand how much these people have lied, how much bullshit they made up, it wouldn't be no arguments between African people and Mexican people or Puerto Rican people or Peruvians or any melanated people. It wouldn't be no more arguments because we will all identify with who the real devil is and who our common enemy is. You know, even with what China Mac was saying, like, you know, that's why I really don't even got no real issue or no real smoke with China Mac, because I know who the real devils are and who done did the real fucked up shit. You know, so somebody saying something that may make somebody upset, it don't even move me because I realize how far removed that is from the shit that we really need to know. You know.
Yeah. Well, hey, real. Sorry to jump in.
No, go ahead, bro.
No, I was just thinking like the reason we're here, or at least I'm here, is because the Prince, said my name or whatever. But like, I think his point was more about getting free. Like historicity and storytelling. It's relevant to, especially to people like us who really love that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody loves that stuff, or they like it enough, but they want to know, like, okay, what's next? What are we gonna do about all that? How are we about to get free? If for generations we're perpetually addicted, locked up, poor, and fucking at each other's throats. Okay, I'm with that. I'm with that. And how do we? I mean, but the real talk is like, okay, YouTube is a whole thing. So that's flat as far as I see it. Anything is anything. We can't tell who's who and what's what unless you cam up and show up, fess up when you mess up. I'm like, or if you're just a chatter, and then whatever, who knows? You could be 12-year-old lily white, powdered and pampered boy in some suburb. I mean, who knows? But so that's one thing. And then the question of sovereignty and like how to build, or who can be included and excluded from groups. That's a struggle. How do we struggle? Who are the icons? Marcus Garvey, Nation of Islam, Malcolm, Martin Luther King. He thought he brought up Martin Luther King. Like, I have a 9-year-old daughter, and let me just say, she knows who Malcolm X is. What I mean? She been knowing. I'm Chicano. What I mean? But she knows exactly, and she knows her history, and I broke it down like the best I could. And she understands the learning process. Like there's filling in the gaps as we go, but it's not just whatever. I ain't trying to cap on, but like, but I'm just saying, like, I'm filling that in. And I'm sure he is too. He didn't say that he wasn't. I'm sure he is. But the point of like inclusion and exclusion. First of all, YouTube, whatever, nobody cares. Public, in organizational, like real social political ways, who organizes? Churches or sporting affiliations, or where you work? Like, I see a lot of fools that wear jerseys and they like to talk about fucking football and all kinds of bullshit. Like, that's cool. I mean, whatever, that's their thing. If that gets them high, I don't, but like, it's a public social thing, and that's a mechanism born out of that's a derivative. That's a derivative. That comes out of that slavery, man. Those are the masters that control an empire of servitude and quote unquote slaves. I mean, what the fuck? Like, in that y'all just sponsor that shit. Like, so let me celebrate that. Let me wear the jersey of my favorite, indentured young beautiful person who's going to kill himself for what? For the good. I mean, whatever. I'm tripping, but like, the point is like groups and excluding. So Sidanius from USC, black man, Jim Sidanius. I urge everybody to Google, YouTube, Jim Sidanius, Siddanius, black professor from USC, whose theory about social domination orientation is great. And he breaks it down to 3 things. There's 3 things that groups include and exclude in members and out members by. It's age, gender, and then the third is arbitrary. It could be anything. Typically, in our experience, it's race, it's color, right? But it could be anything, right? You might be really ugly, or really fat, or really, like, you might have some weird thing going on with you physically that's the arbitrary thing. It's not about your race, or it's not about your color. It's like, wow, he's just, nah, he can't be a part of our group because he's got this weird thing going on. Or it could be some personality quirk, or some maybe you're a chomo, you know what I mean? Maybe that's
Right.
your history. And that's the arbitrary set that excludes you. Yeah, you're the right age, you're the right gender. So as far as like the YouTube streets and breaking bread and putting forth discourse and professing knowledge, well, let me say this. I'm a student of Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, rest in peace,
Right.
peace to the Grandcestor. And if
Right.
you've read her book, the Key to the Colors, she'll break down guns and she'll break down cigars, and she'll tell you how guns, people who are infatuated and over infatuated with guns and cigars, are in fact it's a subconscious homosexual kind of proclivity that exists within them, and that it's not that the person is a homosexual, it's that homosexuality context is attributed to the white dominating empire master racist who came with that pedophilia, the rapist who came with this perversion of this homosexual impulse that includes ideological symbols which are most represented by fucking white men in this empire, USA, capital U.S.A. You know what I mean? Say, like, those who represent guns and cigars, as far as I've seen, and by Frances Cress Welsing's theories and by Taj Tariq Bey's teachings, are in fact showing this hidden subconscious that it's not that you're a homosexual, but that it's you want to participate in that same type of empire building and patriarchal kind of top down, building. So I don't, whatever. If you're into guns and cigars, cool. But the point is that, like, the in group and the out group, Jim Sedanius, USC, and it's so I'm the right age for this panel, at least. I'm not too young, I'm not too old. I'm the right gender and the right arbitrary set. Well, I'll tell you what my arbitrary set is. And then I'm going to land in like 10 seconds. Louise Little. Louise Little is my theoretical framework. That's the window through which I approach this empire and try to exist. Louise Little was the mother of Blessed Malcolm Little. And she had a framework, and she was real light skinned, but everybody's seen the movie. Not everybody read the book, but like, it's like you take the one drop you got and you fight. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You take the one drop you got and you fight. The ISIS papers, the Key to the Colors, orale, etc. That's my mom. That's my. She taught me. And, and lastly, I'm sorry. Lastly, peace to the elder Neely Fuller Jr., who would, who would shudder at seeing non-white men at odds with one another publicly online. Could you imagine? Like, it would probably turn his stomach just to see non-white anything at odds and fighting. So I'm with that, guns and cigars. As far as like the infighting among non-white males online, it's bullshit. I'm done.
Right. And I'm hip to both Neely Fuller and Frances Cress Welsing, and I am in complete agreement with you with subconsciously a lot of the things that you see people do. For instance, Charleston bitch ass White holding up guns and doing all the stuff that he do all the time. To me, that's a direct indication of a deeper subconsciousness that's going on within him. And when you see a lot of the people that like to play with guns and hold guns, or even, are putting cigars in their mouth like they mob bosses, like you said, that's a false sense of security. People who really gonna use their guns, they not gonna show you that they got a gun first. They gonna let you try to come do something to them, and then they gonna do something to you before they allow you to do something to them. So when I was hustling in the streets and people would show their guns, we used to say, you putting a dress on your weapon. It might as well be your girlfriend. You finna take it to the movies with you and show it off. So I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. And I think that a larger issue that many of us don't understand is that many of the things that we dealing with are all psychological, and the real warfare is always been in the mystery. It's not black and white. So another great example is some of the names that you name. So with Marcus Garvey, Marcus Garvey had funding from a one of them J people named Julian Rosenthal. And another person that helped fund Marcus Garvey was a man named, I think, Joseph Plecker. Now, uh, for all the good things that people attribute to Marcus Garvey, what people don't realize that he did was he helped the racist Democrats in Virginia misclassify a lot of the people who were indigenous Americans. And therefore, with the whole Back to Africa movement, a lot of people now don't have the classification that they should have, which took away their rights to land, which made them tax-paying citizens, in which they wouldn't have been tax-paying citizens. They would have all been able to receive a free college education at any college that they choose to go to. So it was so many different things like that that have taken place that our people are completely and totally oblivious to. And there have been many, many, many plants that have been placed in front of us to misguide us and to send us down a direction that wasn't going to be beneficial for us at all. And it's still taking place to this day when you see puppets like Benjamin Crump that get placed in front of us every time we have a real social issue that should be dealt with.
Agreed.
Last thing I'm gonna say that I want everybody that's listening to this live stream to understand is that, for one, there are some definite solutions that uh I can't really speak on right now, but in probably like another 3 to 6 months, it's a very serious line that I'm gonna be pushing that's gonna be helping a lot of people claim their birthrights. Now, with that being said, this is a jewel that I can give out that everybody could look out and they could get a greater understanding of. There's a difference between the United States of America and the United States. The United States is actually a corporate government that is connected to a trust that was set up in the 1600s before the actual Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, which the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence both came from something called the Great Law of Peace, or the Koyonishikoa, which was writings that was connected to the indigenous nations of the Americas. In 1787, there was something called the Organic Act of Washington, or the Organic Act of the District of Columbia, which created the corporate government called Washington, D.C. So now, when we look at all the states we live in, it says state of, and it's in all capitals because all of those states are actually connected to the corporate federal government, which is all set up through the postal service. So the landmass itself is America, which was a republic. So to the republic for which it stands, how did it become a democracy? And these are the things that we need to start to understand. And if we understand these things and we realize collectively that government means govern, to control, and mental, the mind, government is now or has always been for us mind control. So with the remedies and with the solutions, it's about us realizing what we have to do to take ourselves out of their control and out of that status that they have us in. This is why, for melanated people in this country, they changed you from Negro to colored to Afro American to Black American, and all of these different classifications, which, what do? They don't denote a race, ethnicity, culture, or a land that you should be connected to. A person from Tanzania is a Tanzanian. A person from Ethiopia is a Ethiopian. So if we are from America, we should be what? Americans or indigenous Americans. We shouldn't be calling ourselves black, because black, in terms of color of law, means that you are legally dead. So this is why another one of them J people, again, George Soros, funded Black Lives Matter and paid $33 million to the women that promoted the rhetoric and propaganda that became this huge national movement. So in our collective understanding, these are things that have to become common knowledge in order for us to be free and to not be in situations to where when we get pulled over, we just get gunned down and there's no recourse or repercussions for it, because truthfully, you already killed yourself on paper through your legal status by calling yourself black. I land the plane right there.
Oh, the plane went around the world. What's up, Prince?
Hey, what's up with you fellas? Y'all can hear me?
Yeah. You echoing.
I'm echoing.
Yeah, you got two windows open or something.
I only got one. I don't know how to fix that.
Bump that up. You must be out somewhere. Bump that the TV in the background.
Yeah,
It'll
let me see.
strike me. All right.
How about now?
Yeah, you good.
No echo?
No, you good.
Oh, okay. Man, my apologies for being late. I'm still kind of about 30 minutes out, but I came in on what Abba was saying about. I want him to say that again about guns and cigars being homosexualized. What can he repeat that?
Well, I was referencing a seminal text by a disputed, reputable great ancestor of the Black community. Like that's not my ethnic lineage, but the knowledge and the philosophy that she put forth was so powerful, and it lives, bro. And so I was just referencing her. She's dead now, right? But her work is so powerful. I urge you to get with it. And if you want to shoot me your email, I got the book right here next to me. I'm not going to read it now, but I'll send you a PDF. She's got 2 chapters. Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. You can even YouTube. She's got lectures. You know who she is? Huh?
Prince, he was asking you, do you know who she is?
Yeah.
You know who Dr. Frances Cress Welsing is?
I think his mic out.
Oh.
We can't hear you, bro.
Y'all hear me?
No.
Now we can hear you.
No.
Okay, yeah, man. I rebooted my laptop, man. It's been a while since I used it, so a lot of stuff popping up. But yeah, I know who Cress Welsing is.
Oh, good, cool. Well, if you don't have her text, it's my bad. Sorry. No, it's all good. Like, okay, so her text.
I was just saying my son, and I was just
Right. So her text is called the ISIS Papers, the Keys to the Colors. ISIS, as in the Egyptian ISIS. And so Chapter 8 is called Guns as Symbols, and I'd be happy to send that to you. Chapter 11 is called the subliminal, or the symbolism of smoking objects. So she goes in. She's a child psychologist who's deep into like the subconscious of humans, meaning like the things that we do on the surface that people see. It's like an iceberg. They just see the surface. They don't see the layers or the depth of what's really happening. So she says that guns, people who are really impassionate about guns and people that are really impassioned about cigars, there's particular qualities and characteristics that she has seen over time. And she's a wise, like, you know, she's not just the child of a black psychologist, but she's the grandchild of a black psychologist, and she was so deep, bro. And so like chapter 8 and chapter 11 are on that, and I'd hate to like misrepresent what she says, but if you want, reach out offline, and I'll send you PDFs of both of the chapters so you can see what she says. But what I remember her saying was that, you know, because those are really those are symbols of power, or at least in this context, this United States context, where you see men who are capitalists, they often love guns and they smoke big brown cigars. And so she goes in on what that says about them subconsciously and their sexuality and maybe other proclivities they might have. That's all.
Oh, well, I can tell you, yeah, I would like that literature, but I don't know how we would reach offline. I guess you can give it to Pumpkin and he can give it to me. But as far as guns and cigars, you would have to ask me why I chose that. It was a very I came to YouTube with this name as a brand, whereas I seen most of my kind of people, which is African American, Black, Negro, whatever you want to call us. I don't know the right term to call us. So I saw people on here just on here. They didn't have no branding. They don't have no marketing. They just chose to jump on YouTube and start talking about other Black folk. That's what most of the people that I watch do. So me, when I chose my brand, it was kind of out of both of them was hobbies. I started smoking cigars because as coming up, I smoked marijuana. So when I was starting a family, I had to get a better job. And, you know, in Texas, I don't know where you at, but in Texas, you can't get no good job with marijuana in your system. So I chose to wean myself off by, you know, doing other things. I tried dipping, you know, I tried smoking Black and Milds. And what I felt, I guess, in love with was cigars. You know, it put me, I couldn't piss dirty with them. You know, I couldn't smoke them in the house. So that was another good thing why I chose them. And I've been smoking cigars going on maybe 5-6 years now. You understand me? It's more of a relaxing method for me. I don't smoke them every day. Kind of like an occasion, or, you know, on the weekend type of deal. I can, you know, go outside and chill with myself and smoke a cigar. I love the barbecue. So while I'm barbecuing or something on the weekend, I can have a cigar, drink a couple of beers or some drink. You know what I'm saying? That's why I chose that. As far as the guns, and I did a lot of research, but the Jim Crow laws prevented Black men from owning guns, be around guns, and that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I had moved into this predominantly Hispanic, Mexican, I don't know what y'all like to be called, so I'd say Hispanic neighborhood. And a couple of occasions, I got some knocking at my door. You understand me? And I didn't even know I could own guns. I got 2 misdemeanors. I didn't know, like I said, I'm not educated or nothing like that on laws or none of that shit. So I needed a way to prevent motherfuckers from getting in the house on my family, me and my family, you dig? And I had guns, but they weren't legal. You see what I'm saying? So the Jim Crow laws, protection, and just being able to have them is partly the reason why I choose to own guns. You know, I have my gun license. So coming to YouTube, like I said, what can I do to, you know, stand out away from the crowd, kind of keep from bullshit, arguing, bickering back and forth with folk? Well, I can do cigar reviews and I can do gun reviews. So those are my reasons. That's just a small sample size of why I chose the name, the brand. As you see, my wife, she does my damn, I'm losing train of thought, but I'm still trying to watch the show. My wife, she does my what is it called? My material. She does everything. My material. I'm trying to think of the name for clothing, but you know, I'm trying to be
branding, merchandising.
Yeah, merchandise. You got it right. My merch. So
Word.
I think that shit pretty dope. You may not like it. You
Nah, it's
understand
cool,
me?
bro.
Nah, he
Yeah.
check
And
check
it
it.
ain't for
Think,
hold
I
on.
don't
Just let me
think
finish real quick.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, so like I said, I thought it was pretty dope, guns and cigars, to brand myself on YouTube, but I go by the Prince, where everybody know that ain't my real name. I was a rapper at one time. You dig what I'm saying? I go by, so my name was Ye the Prince, and I took the Ye out of the spelling from the Bible, YEA. You understand me? It's a lot of shit I can go in and go, and explain to you, but that just give you a little example of why I chose the name Guns and Cigars, and why I choose to, if I do smoke cigars, or if I have to defend my family, other than using my hands, you know what I'm saying? I have to, use the weapon that we couldn't have at one point in time as a black man. So I yield the flow there, and I'll let y'all
Yeah.
get y'all's off.
Hey,
Yeah.
I
I
want to
don't think
respond to that, but go ahead, Heru. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think he was. I don't even think bro knew that was your brand. You know what I'm saying?
Nope,
I
nope.
think he was saying that straight from the conversation that we was having based on the writings of Francis Quest Wilson and the lineage that he comes from as far as the different things that he studied. So if you would have been on a little bit earlier than that, he talked about how he learned from Malcolm and he learned from different people. You know what I mean? And he only was basically hitting on different things that he learned as far as the teachings from different people.
But hey, but let me
So
say this. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate, but real talk, even if I at that point in time when I said what I said, if I felt like I knew that it was homie's brand, I probably would have said the same thing. So
yeah, okay,
I'm not trying to hurt the bro, but I
yeah,
really appreciate like knowing what you just shared in your story, because like, hey, quitting weed. I love my cannabis, homie. Like I love it, homie. I love so quitting weed for whatever reason has always been a challenge since I was a kid. You know what I mean? So I've been through the dip always worked for me. Like if I had to quit, I grew up in Oregon. I'm a California native, grew up in Oregon around fools that dipped. And when I had to quit weed for whatever reason, I'd be chewing. I'd be chewing Copenhagen. I'd be chewing whatever I could get, Kodiak, Bandits, whatever the fuck. So I appreciate that whole thing. And I also appreciate what you said about, like, I'm just speaking from the heart now. Like, I appreciate what you said about being a hardworking man, a family man, and wanting to provide, and the symbolism and all the interconnectedness that you laid out. That's hardcore. Like, I really appreciate that. And I love that. And that's a quality. Okay, if we can build bridges across groups and then alliances, well, bridges, whatever. Like, how can we ally? You know what I mean? Because like a lot of times, like places I work. Let me say this. Okay, so this is a good point that you were talking about. In Texas, you can't have dirty piss. You can have dirty piss in Texas if you got a college degree. If you got a college degrees and you're working in information industries and stuff, you can have dirty piss. If you're not and you're working in more kind of like trades, what they call trades and stuff, and all the disparate like branches of that, then it's more difficult to have dirty piss and make good money. And I appreciate that, because I work with all those people. But nah, so it's all one love, bro. So like hearing your story, man, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, protect. No, in Jim Crow history, being able. No, I'm all for that. I'm all for that because I want an independent. As far as an outsider, I'm an outsider, right? I represent a Southwest United States Chicano kind of positionality where we speak about a sovereign nation, that we want, and we can only get that. Malcolm said the ballot or the bullet. So you got the gun, that's the bullet. And I'm going to tell you, since Malcolm put forth that framework, the ballot hasn't answered. It hasn't borne it's borne minutia. It's borne some fruit along the way, like gradual, but it's not enough. So I'm saying like total sovereignty, total independence, and nationhood. I support that for the Black families and for the Chicano families. Like, how can we live independently without fear? And so, Yeah, no, that's real cool with everything you laid out. That's all.
Uh, you said something about sovereignty. I wouldn't suggest um black people to go sovereign, because once you go sovereign, then you refusing American help. Far as the hospitals, they don't have to help you if you see what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of more than just being free
That's not
sovereign.
true, bro.
Oh, go ahead.
That's not true. Okay, first off, like the problem with what most people equate to sovereignty is all based on the Moorish slant, right? So the true autonomy that we should be, and autonomy is just a word that means self-governance. The true autonomy that we should be attaching ourselves to is actually knowing that we are the real indigenous citizens of this land, and we was here before any Europeans actually showed up, and these peoples are actually settlers in our land, and everything that's on this land actually should be um
Right.
should actually, like, every if a person truthfully, if a being is truthfully noble and they're under the proper overstanding, like, what I'm about to do is I'm about to put liens on every fucking business that's in the area that my ancestors had that was taken from them, because that's my reparations. They fucking owe me, and I'm coming. When Pac said I'm coming back for everything you owe, bitch, I'm coming back for everything you owe me.
Right.
So a motherfucker can't deny me nothing, because all this shit here is mine and it was built without my permission. So when it's all said and done, that's the difference, Prince, on what I was saying earlier about us understanding that there's a difference between the landmass of America and the United States, which is a corporate government that was set up based on commercial banking codes and the laws of the sea. So when a person is born in this country and they have a birth certificate, there's a bond that's connected to that birth certificate that actually goes to the Department of Treasury, and that person becomes a commodity that's used as collateral. And that's why they tell you on the stock market that they trade in stocks and bonds. And the bullshit that they told us in history about the Revolutionary War was all bullshit, because this bond is actually connected to England. So that's why the states that are in the area where New York is Yorkshire, and that's really the capital of the country, because that's where the World Trade Center is. The money is controlled there, right? And the money controls the military. The United States is the military. Great Britain is the money, and the Vatican is the religion. And those are the three nation states in the world: the Vatican, Washington, D.C., and the city or the monarchy in Great Britain. So if we know this and we now know what we have to do to remove ourselves from their jurisdiction, it gives us all power and all dominion in this land. We should not be paying taxes. We should be able to afford all of the luxuries, amenities, and opportunities that they have had, because they actually took our shit.
True. But what? But it's gonna take what to get that? Because we tried to vote ourselves free.
Shit,
Everybody.
I'm doing my process right now.
No, I feel you. I feel that. Okay. Now,
I'm doing my process right now.
writ
homie.
large,
So,
writ large nations, like, I ain't trying to speak for homie, but like writ large, fools wonder, like, okay, what's a massive, like, what does that look like? How do we leverage that for my family now? Guns and butter. Like, how do I get some fucking? I need some butter now. Let's build
Right.
the guns. Let's build the guns long term.
Right.
Guns symbolizing investment into long lasting things that pay back residuals over time, like industry or information technology, things that
Right.
work and return residuals. Butter being the shit that burns up overnight. So like, how we need butter now. How do we writ large put forth some guns in light of what you're saying? Because
Well, what I'm working on is the ultimate guns, bro.
hey,
You hear me?
yeah,
Yeah, I'm working on the
Wow.
ultimate guns.
talk about it, homie.
So I mean, I ain't finna talk about it on this panel or
Yeah,
online.
bet not.
You know what I'm
Bet
saying?
not.
All right.
Yeah,
Huh.
me and you can have conversations offline about it, because one of the things that I definitely know that has to happen is it has to be like-minded people that have to come together that are already aware of certain things that we need to be aware of in order for us to build strong alliances, because no man is an island, and there has to be people from many walks of life that are able to bring many things to the table, you know.
Pause right there.
Man,
Right.
neighborhood. Woo.
And if I didn't want to misrepresent guns and cigars, hey, but like if what does that sound like to you? Because it seems, you know, I can bridge the gap between lofty philosophical, you know, nationalistic ideals and different types of abstractions, but then I also identify with, and I know you do too, I know all of us do, fools that are on the ground, like paying bills and trying to feed kids and got to get to go to whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you thinking, homie?
That's cool. But like I said, I came in kind of late, bro. I came in when you were saying what I spoke on. So I think the reason why Pumpkin set this up is because of what I said about
Yeah. So
you.
you
I
got a
think it
problem with me?
was,
What's up? You got a problem with me?
see, I be so I think, and I can elaborate on that what I was saying while you're here,
Yeah.
opposed of you not being here, and I don't know what you took from what I was saying. You dig what I'm saying? So basically what I was saying is if we want, if I don't know what to call us, you know, so I'm gonna just use black for this um live. But if black to be stronger, then we got to do it ourselves. We don't need the brown people's help. We don't need white people's help. You know, most of them come around us as agents anyway. They steal our information, they steal our lingos, they steal our swag, they steal our culture if we got one, and take it back, and then they mock, uh, you know, just the way we speak or the way we act, and they just mock us. And for one, I know white people don't really like us, and the brown people, I think mostly, and not all, but most of y'all identify as white. You understand me? So I think that's why we got here. So let's get into that. If you want to, or if y'all want to keep building on what y'all had going on, then that's cool. But I think that's why we here. You understand me?
Right. Yeah, let's get into that. No, you bring up a good point, and I think you're right for the most, for writ large. Like I think most so-called people that are, see, I don't say Hispanic. I hate that fucking word. It's Hispanic for me has always sounded like spick, and ever since it came into actual common usage, like I think it was under the Nixon era. Like this is a governmental term. These terms come to us from the empire. I mean, if you don't know that, you don't know that. You know what I mean? And so maybe I'm an outsider, right? Like I'm an outsider not only to this panel, maybe. Like if you all identify as black men, right? I don't know. I'm trying to speak for you. I don't. I'm not a black man, right? So I'm an outsider. I have an outsider's perspective, and I always put that forth, right? And I never try to like misrepresent what it is that I am. But also, I'm an outsider within my group. I'm a natural born border crosser. Like I can't escape it. And it would take too long. You would have to look at my channel. It's all about it. You know what I mean? I've written books. Like that's all I do is I cross borders. Hypothetical, real, conceptual, like linguistic, hyper digital, like it's border crossing, whatever. But as far as like, informing or being being an informant, wow. Like, I feel you. No, that's real. COINTELPRO, like in the Chicano nation, we bear witness to that too. We look for moles and rats and, people who are like plants. The thing I like about Real, and the reason why I even mess with Real's channel Pumpkin's channel, is because, he's got this like open discourse thing going, like where other channels, it seems very nation state, where people are like, this is who I am, who we are, and we have an ideology here. We believe in this. And I'm not saying Real doesn't, you know what I'm saying? But like the what that looks like in practice is more inclusive. It's like people can interject and collaborate. And I'm not sure what the specific focus is, but like as far as Black nationalism and how outsiders, inform that, that's a real thing. Like how do you keep the outsiders out? You know what I mean? If you're looking to build that thing. What else? What did I miss? You had another question that I feel like I missed.
Let me tap in right here. I mean, hold on. Let me say something on that. Let me expound on that. It's just like, okay, when you're saying we don't want other people, right, to come in and do it ourselves. If we go back and look at history, right, history going to show us the way to the future. So most of all the organizations that came together, I'm gonna go farther back than that. I'm gonna use Nat Turner. You know what I'm saying? The question that Nat Turner was on, he was betrayed by the same people he was trying to free. So anything that we trying to organize and we looking toward the bigger picture of collectively, if somebody puts it together, it's always somebody that's close to us that's going to betray it. It's hardly ever, a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, unless we talking about the government, but we just talking about amongst us. It's hard, you know what I'm saying, for your enemies to get amongst you. It's always going to be people that's going to be amongst you that you're not watching, that you relaxing, you comfortable with, because they had same career, same ideology, come from the same background. So you're not suspecting them to be this way. But it's a lot of us, that we got to understand too, that in this walk that we walking on, in this path that we want to embark upon, there's going to be some people that's not with this. There's going to be some people that can't go. And we have to be able to separate our emotions from what the realization is of what we are trying to achieve, which is the greater goal. And you know what I'm saying? And we can't do that, man. We can't allow them to be a part of it, or we have to do something to them, which goes back to the guns or whatever. But at the end of the day, we have to keep in mind the one and bear witness to the past that showed us that we ain't be so fearful of the people on the outside. We got to be more fearful of the people that's amongst us, that's right there. You know what I'm saying? So it makes it harder to bring unity. So when you have a lot of this is something I said, right? This is something I came up with. I might not have came up with this, but I just think I did. Right? I'm gonna say this. I was wondering, I was sitting in jail, right? Just like years later. And I was wondering, how can somebody love you and hate you at the same time? Because I've experienced that. I experienced somebody having love for me and hated me at the same time.
A person
And then
can hate.
Go ahead, bro.
A person can only truthfully hate what they once loved, bro. If it's somebody that never was a factor in that regard and they do some slime or do something wrong to you, you ain't finna be tripping off of it. You only trip off the fact when you find out that somebody that you once loved got hatred for you, or vice versa. You only hate somebody that you once had love for. You dig what I'm saying? Because hatred, truthfully, is the perversion of love.
Facts. That's facts. That's facts.
So I wanna say something about what you just said too, because that's very important that people realize that part of it. That remember what you when you said what you said to me, and I said nothing that China Mac could ever do or say could affect me, because only our people are the ones that could keep us in bondage now.
True.
You see what I'm saying? The people that's keeping us in bondage is Hassan Campbell and Charleston White and motherfucking me, what's the other dude, DJ Academics, and people like that that create all of these different narratives that keep us divided, and they create situations to where somebody now feel like they got to go out and defend the whole state of California because of some shit that somebody said about, I'm from Texas, nigga, and this how we do what we do. You understand? These are the people that we really need to be mindful of that are doing these things, because truthfully, if we look at what happened with Tupac and Biggie and we understand the greater implications upon that, and how it was dudes that was in Georgia and Florida that never been to New York and never been to LA, but they was picking a side. So the only people and truthfulness that could keep us in this position that we're in now is our own people. Because only our own people could
I
come
think you
along and
getting
trick us
off.
into some bullshit. What
Well,
happened?
no, you go, homie. Like, no,
See,
no, he's speaking. It's not bullshit. That's all real. But you had a different point you wanted to address, so you go. You
Yeah,
had a different. Go ahead, bro.
yeah. I'm
yeah.
I'm
So
almost done.
what?
I'm almost done. What I was
Okay.
saying is that only the people amongst us that come along and send us down the wrong road are the ones that continually can keep us perpetuating this same cycle where we running like hamsters on the wheel and there's no real progress.
Go ahead, Prince.
Real talk.
Okay. We so I think neighborhood real show it kind of got off topic. So I don't know what he spoke to you about, Haru, for you to come on the next day, but his show was about him condoning China Mac perpetrating the black culture. You dig what
Nah,
I'm saying?
nah.
So the comments that I was making.
My bad. My bad. Go ahead, bro. My bad. Go ahead.
What's up? No, go ahead,
Saying
homie. Go ahead.
you're mixing two ideas, because that was one idea, but the reason like that he called you and me here to talk was about that you know thought about the inclusion of so quote unquote
Right.
non-black
That's why
platforms. My bad. Okay,
I
now
was
stop.
doing it. That's why I was going, my bro. That's what. Nah, my. And like I said, and when he called me today, he was like, "Well, you and Eyeball gonna debate." You ask him. I'm just a realist. You understand me? I said, man, he way more smarter than me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just the old street guy. You know, I get my shit from the soul. You know, I don't read many books as y'all. So I told him, man, if we gonna debate, he gonna beat me. But that's another thing. So I already gave you your propers, and that's why I came on and explained what my because I felt like you was kind of hostile with what you were saying about my logo. You know what I'm saying? Of my brand. So that's why I came in the way I came. But I wanted to keep it on what I was saying in the chat that kind of triggered you, I guess. What I was saying is because Haru we gotta stop if they doing bad, even publicizing that they doing bad, bro. We gotta stop negatively talking about our people like that, homie. The Hispanic race don't do that shit in public, bro.
Hey, look, bro.
Hold up.
But we
Let me
do.
land.
But we do.
Charleston
Hold on,
White
wait,
ain't
let
my
me
people,
land.
bro. Them ain't my people. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. Them ain't my
Okay,
people.
let me land, homie. Let me land. I know you already said you got a problem with him. That's cool. You dig what I'm saying? That's your issue with him. But you can't keep bringing him up in this conversation when I'm on here because you're not talking to him, you're talking to me. So when I'm trying to come up with solutions for us, I ain't including him. You dig what I'm saying? I'm not including these folks. I'm just solely speaking on what I feel. And I feel like when we allow other races to come into our mix, that hurts us too, homie. We can't go and be no Latin King or no Brown Pride or no Sutrese or no. I couldn't be that shit. Could I, eyeball? Can you answer that? Could I be?
It depends. No, mira.
Okay, now let me land. Let me
Right.
finish. So we shouldn't be so eager to let them join Crip, Blood, NAACP, and we do that. Black people, we just so loving and so forgiving that we forgive 400 years of slavery. That's how we are as people. We just, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm on, bro. I'm not on who tearing us down. We get to them in a minute. What can we do to come together as one, as black folk? You know, and we can't televise this shit, so we're not gonna give everything up on this app. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna tell you how I feel, and you know, if you get the gist of it, you get it. But that's what I'm saying. Like the Mexican culture, they stick together where I'm from. I'm in West Texas. I'm 2 hours away from Acuña, Mexico. You understand me? And them folks stick together, bro. We don't. So and when I went down there to that place, I didn't feel welcome. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel like, you know, I could go join and move over there and be good. But they can come move to the south side and be good, build homes and flourish.
Mhm.
You understand? That's what I'm speaking on, bro. So if we want to talk about that, let's get to that, homie. Not what Charleston White doing, not what this one and that one doing, because we ain't worried about them, homie.
Right. I'm with you. I'm with you. Let me respond to that. Like, because I've seen both sides, and let me say this: I've been into Mexico and through Mexico in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different states. 7 different states and 8 different states, and seeing the different levels of socio-political. They got the same stuff going on. It's rich versus poor. They got people that are dying. They got people that are thriving. It's a greater gap in Mexico between the haves and the have-nots, if you will. We here still have a residual economic currency that flows that folks can get a hand on. In Mexico, it's even worse. So even though it appears there's a total like collective, you know, like benefit and belief, that's not it, bro. In fact, there's a greater gulf between those who have and those who have not. And then I would say also your point, both things are true. Yes. Well, you didn't say that. You thought that like all Latinos, Mexicans, Chicano, Hispanics, whatever, like are all on one accord. Fools be killing and hating and dissing, and it's wretched. If you, I urge you to visit, even visit Tony A. You know, Tony A is like the most popular like Chicano like podcast. You know, that's my homie. Like I'm from the Harbor area, Rhodium. That's where I go. Like you watch his website, or his podcast rather. Like the chat is full of pinche cabrones, like fucking Mexicans going at each other. And this is just in the Southland. This is in the homeland. So it's not what it appears on the surface. And I could never know what the black life is like at the depths. But also you bring up a good point, because so-called black communities are easily penetrated, right? Like by any group, any new, that's the move. And Heru is speaking to that, like as far as like what that looks like on the ground and how new groups are able to penetrate into and use. Well, let me say this, even as a non-white disconnected boy in white suburban America, I connected with other disconnected non-white boys, right? Or they were either black or mixed or whatever like me. And there was an attraction or an assimilation toward black, because when you're in lily white fucking suburban America and you're poor and you're half black or you're half brown and you're fucking trying to find an identity, the BDP and fucking, you know, Chuck D and Eazy-E, like these are the assimilatory model. Like we go zoom right to it. right to it. So it doesn't matter if you're, all I'm trying to say is it's very diverse, and there's a lot of people who are able to latch on to a blackness in this country that benefits them and advocates toward a revolution, an eventual, sovereignty and no overturning of it all. I'm done.
And so that's why I was saying that, because Neighborhood Real I know why he did it. Everybody on here, I think we create content on YouTube. So I'm not going to give my homie up. You know what I'm saying? But it was
Hold up, that's
triggering.
not why.
Oh, my bad. I ain't going to speak.
Not for content.
Yeah,
Not for content.
But the discussion was being had, so me, and like I consider Neighborhood Real one of my YouTube homies. You dig what I'm saying? We done met in public, so I felt like I can voice my opinion. I was doing it respectfully, but when he was saying that China Mac is right to make money off the black race, and nah, homie, you know what I'm saying? That ain't cool, bro. And that's what I was saying. So I brought you up, like, because you was commenting on that subject too, far as the black race. And
right. But see, the larger issue, bro, is what I'm saying. So see, when we start talking about how we gonna unify, how we gonna make shit better, you can't make shit better until you clean up your own house. So okay, if we want to say we're going to make certain things exclusive to this or exclusive to that, right? Then we got to clean up all the filth that's out of the house. So now let's use China Mac as a stimulus. How many people from our culture that identify with being from hip hop culture have given China Mac a platform? Has he been on Flip the Script? Has he been on Mav Hoffa? Has he dealt with all of these people that supposedly look like us? So now we have to start looking at that part of it and realize the perpetual cycle of people that will constantly say, fuck you to you, Prince. And they will say, because we know we can identify with this person named China Mac, fuck what you talking about. So at the end of the day, my point is, until we clean our own house and we start addressing the people that we consider to be quote unquote our people, then shit ain't gonna never change. Because we can't sit here and act like that just because this nigga look like me, he above reproach. Nah, a fuck nigga is a fuck nigga is a fuck nigga. I don't care if it's Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. A fuck nigga is a fuck nigga at the end of the day. So that's the biggest problem that we always have when we start talking about this peace, love, and unity and kumbaya shit that niggas got in their head. Because it's never gonna happen until real men in our community step up and start pushing the line and say, hey, bro, that's some fuck shit you doing. I don't identify with that shit. You need to stop that fuck shit. If not, ain't shit gonna ever change. Because it's always gonna be a nigga that's gonna be doing some shit to benefit themselves and say fuck his people at the end of the day. We see it over and over and over again. And that's why I said what I said the other night about when we just look at hip hop and we look at what they did to hip hop when we had Rakim and Chuck D and KRS-One and all of the positive influence that we had in hip hop. The reason I use certain stimuluses is because it's something that we could see and easily identify with.
Okay, Heru, you keep referencing them. You got two people, Charleston and DJ Academics, right? Them only two. You got brothers like Nate. Hold up, homie. Hold up. We got you. We got Pumpkin. I'm not gonna throw myself in there because, like I say, I'm not educated. You know what I'm saying? But I believe it's more educated brothers than them too. So what we need to be doing is stop focusing on them, homie, and focus on what y'all gonna do. You dig what I'm saying? We know we gonna always have coons. We gonna always have fuck niggas. We gonna always have you know what I'm saying, motherfuckers that's gonna try to fuck us over. But we need the majority of the strong brothers that's gonna stick together and ride. You dig what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. But I want to stick to why me and Eyeball here, because I don't want him to think. See, when we pro-black and we for black people, other races think we against them. I'm not against y'all.
I'm pro-black, homie. I'm pro-black. What are you talking about? Like I told you, Malcolm is my father.
Pro-black, bro.
No, I can't. No, listen. You don't. Two things can exist at the same time.
Okay, well, let me finish. I'm not long-winded like you guys. I go.
Nah, bro. Let me say real quick. Then Malcolm is my father, right? He taught me everything I need to know, and I represent that in my Chicano race. And our sovereignty. So I represent that and I respect that. And I push for a sovereign black nation in this soil, like a part different from the constructs that the federal government has in place now. Like I'm all for it. I'm all for a sovereign, independent overthrowing. I know. Let me land. Like to get over on that and on that level, on that federal level, it's gonna take the guns, I think. I'll stop there. But I think both things exist. I'm pro-black, but I'm pro my nation. Do you understand what it means?
Hey, yo, peace, Pumpkin, peace.
Hey, what's up? Let me say something right quick.
Yeah,
I think. Hold on, right quick. I'll let you in. Oh, okay. Hey, let me say this. Everybody right? Everybody right in there, what they saying and the facts, their opinions. But here's the thing that we like. I'm gonna address what Prince saying versus what Haru saying. Just to break the basic breakdown, real talk though. Let's just be on some. I'm gonna take it on the lower straight level. On some real talk, if you got people in the way, you're gonna have to move them out the way. We can't say, oh, we can do what we're gonna do right here and allow. It's like knowing that these dudes is snitches. But we know they snitches, but we still finna set up and do what we gonna do anyway in front of them and allow them to knock us down that way. You know what I'm saying? And we can't you can't be successful. You cannot be successful in any endeavor when you know the opposition is standing there. You have to either run the opposition over, or you have to do some type of play or plan to make it apply pressure to them to make them conform what we doing, or they got to get out the way. We can't go around them. And I can tell you this from a personal level, right? This kind of be off, but I'm gonna say this. You know why I went to prison? Because I had that same mentality, kind of what you're saying. That not mentality. My bad. I apologize. The concept. I ain't worried about that. I handle that at a later date. I know what I'm doing, and my arrogance of having that type of concept had somebody go tell on me when I knew damn well I should have took care of my business a different way. And because of me being arrogant on that concept, it cost me. So when I heard anybody that's saying they trying to do something, they got an opposition in the way, or somebody that's gonna be, it's an obstacle, I'm gonna tell them eradicate it immediately before you move forward. Don't let that stand there. Don't let it linger. Don't leave it behind, because you can't go back and fix the past. Because if you leave it behind you, it's gonna haunt you in the future. Because you should have did something with it back then. Now you can't do nothing with it in the future. It got the jump on you. It got the up. So why do that? So in this conversation that we having, we have to point. Okay, so we saying is exclude them people. Okay, I'm gonna give you some new people to talk about. Let's talk about Al Sharpton. Let's talk about Jesse Jackson. Let's talk about these other political people that's in position that's not doing nothing for us. Let's talk about how they put Steve Harvey in position where he can be telling black women what to do with the black man, but then it's all detrimental to us as a whole. Like, let's talk about other people. We can bring up other people and say what they've been doing and how they've been implemented to, you know what I'm saying, trip us up, have us looking one way while while the government doing something else, or the people doing something else over here. So we always going to keep being distracted by our own people. And that's where, like I say, man, you have to look at the history, bro. We have to go all the way back to the beginning of this. You know what I'm saying? Since we've been on this land, bro, it's always being betrayed by our own people, bro, because we be turning a blind eye to that. And that's what's killing us, because when you say race, I'm gonna go with what you're saying. When we talk about other races, they eradicate them problems. That's why they're able to get in power.
How do you know?
Because they in power.
But
That's
that
how I
don't
know.
mean they
But
eradicate their issues.
yeah, they did. The people that wasn't with them, they mashed on them.
See, that go to what I'm
So
saying,
there
bro.
go. What, hold on, listen to this. Let me
Hold on,
land. Let me land. Let me land. So if they didn't do that, then they wouldn't have all them crusades. Hey, what's up? Y'all gonna get down with Jesus, or y'all gonna get down with this Christianity? Nah, we ain't doing that. Brr, run them over. Take everything they got, run them over. What y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna get down what? Brr, run them over. The only thing people on this planet respect, bro, in order is violence first, power second, and we can say sex is the third one because that's power too. It'll make a lot of stuff happen. So, but violence is the key. You have to eradicate your opponents, bro, or the people that's not rolling the way you rolling. You got to get rid of them because they know the plan, and they'll stop it at any given time because they know all the details to it. Why? Why I'm gonna leave them there so they can do that? So the people that's in power, they got empowered because they move with a force of violence. They move with a force of manipulation. They had a plan, bro, and they didn't. And the people that wasn't with the plan, they did not go. And if they tried to balk on it, they got rid of them.
So I'll say this: I'm not gonna contradict myself. You saying that other races is doing this and that. I said, how do you know? Me personally, I don't go to country bars, so I couldn't tell you what's going on in no country bar. I don't go to Latino clubs, so I couldn't tell you what's going on in no Latino club, homie.
You got to go deeper than that, homie. That's you said that as a. I'm just saying, like you got to be able to go deeper than like a little phrase that you use to capture how you interact with Mexicans. You know what I mean, you got to go deeper than that if you want.
I'm trying to, if you let me. So to go a little deeper is, I'm not gonna say what the Mexican race is doing good or bad because that's not my focus. I'm not over there with them, so I can't say if they doing good or bad. I know I don't go input my fucking thoughts and my feelings in what they doing. I'm a black man. That's why I say they shouldn't be doing that to us, homie. That's what I'm saying. I know y'all cool with interracial dating and all of that shit. I'm not.
Right. Yeah, me neither.
I think cool. All races, to me, all races should feel like that. That's cool with me. Mexicans should want to be with Mexican, make their shit better. Whites should want to make their shit better and be with each other. And we should be with each other and make our shit better.
Ugly motherfuckers.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
So what?
Okay, but I wasn't speaking in far as terms of other races. I'm speaking on the point of just us black period, right? We know what I'm saying, melanated people of color, however you want to say it. I'm speaking for us. The people that's in power, bro, the people that's in power, they in power because of that concept. We not in power because we don't have that concept. It don't get no simpler than that. Okay, the Mexicans do what they doing, the Asians do what they do. But listen, the people in power are in power because they will roll over something. The people in power are because they rolled over something, they obtained all the knowledge to keep everybody behind them dumb and not knowing how to get the same power and roll back over them. So hold on, I'm gonna land, hold on. So when you're the winner of war, you call the history. You write the history. You call the shots until you get knocked off. They say the king in the mountain. Till you get knocked me off the mountaintop, and then you can call the shots and say what you want and rewrite the history and say what it is and have all the knowledge. Because, like he said, most of the knowledge for religion is over there in the Vatican. Why do they have all the artifacts to every known religion? But we know why. Why do they keep the knowledge? Because they don't want us to know it. They only distribute the knowledge a certain way. Only a certain percentage of people, and that is so small. Well, if I'm wrong, Haru, you can correct me. You know what I'm saying? About what is like 2%, 1% of the people that really got the knowledge.
Hold on. With the internet,
So,
that's
hold on, bro. Hold on. So with that being said, when you lack knowledge, bro, you have no power. So how can you advocate anything when you have no knowledge of anything or just even the knowledge itself as a whole? You cannot build off of that. Can't build off of without no knowledge. You have to have some knowledge. You know what I'm saying? The build. So we as us as people, we lack a lot of knowledge because see how we. The reason why I had this set this up, you may feel like it's content, but it's not. It was a good conversation, a dialogue to have because how you feel, how he feels, how I look at it, how Haru look at it. This is just dialogue, bro. This is a conversation that real men are sit down and have. And see, we not arguing. Nobody's yelling and screaming. So that means we have a level of respect for one another and intellect to have these conversations. And it's good for people that don't really know. They try to gain some knowledge, bro. Somebody gonna get some out of everything you said, everything Eyeball said, everything Haru said, what I say, and even though James, when he speak, they're gonna grasp that. But we gotta understand, bro. Without the knowledge, you cannot do anything. It's not nobody else's fault. It's our fault of not trying to get the knowledge because we don't want to believe it. So I'm gonna land right here and I'm gonna say this. Just like Haru said, when one person going the other way, they people going is looking out for self. When you see somebody, all of us collectively, right? Quick example, all of us trying to do something. And we got the same plan and agenda. But we see one person over here, he went the opposite way and he's shining. And we already know we struggling. Some that shining that one person doing gonna look real good to a lot of people that's hungry. We hungry over here, but how many people gonna want to stay hungry? Some they're gonna jump ship. Some people gonna jump ship just to go eat. So you got to keep that in mind. So with that being said, man, we have to think about everybody, bro, that's trying to go individually. We got to get rid of them because they are a detriment to what we trying to accomplish. It don't matter who they is. I ain't pointing out no particular people. I'm just saying for the plan, bro, for whatever the greater good is, we have to do that. And I'm gonna land right there.
Yeah, peace. I just wanted to, this is my type of topic. Peace to everybody on the panel. But I was interested. I thought that this is a very good dialogue that you having because of Eyeball and the brother in contrast, right? So I'm listening to the conversation, and then I'm picking up on kind of like what Eyeball is saying about his affinity for Black people. And it seemingly, if I'm hearing him correct, it kind of comes through hip hop, right? That's for Eyeball.
Oh, my bad. Well, that's an interesting point. Yes, I would say that. Well, it's a connection between being fatherless, like having. So I'm a Chicano, but I was raised by a white woman who gave me no reference. This is relevant, right? I mean, I'll keep it real short, homie. Like she gave me no reference to my indigenous roots or who my Chicano father was back in LA, right? She moved us. She kidnapped us, cabron, but she didn't teach us about what happened. And so searching as a soul might, as mine did, I was looking and searching and I was looking for a masculinity, and this is relevant because as soon as I saw, BDP, Chuck D, and I said that, and those masculine images, mass media images, which bears witness to the empire and blah blah blah. Like, yeah, homie, like I latched on to that shit, and I was like, ooh, here we go. Like, I have a masculine model to latch onto, so I'll land. Go ahead.
Right. So are you saying that your mother was a European and your father was a Latino?
Not Latino, Chicano.
Well, excuse my ignorance on the references between the two.
Different. It's totally.
Excuse me.
It's totally different.
Okay. Well, we're African American, so we kind of don't really know the difference. So we kind of put y'all all in the Latino, and that's being respectful.
Right? No,
I'm not trying to be
distill down better than that, homie. You got to do better.
Okay, you saying what?
You got to do better. Like distill it down. Whittle it down, like get
right. Well, we're talking about the confusion with our own terms from African American, Negro. So I'm not doing that to be offensive. But if you want to educate me on what's the difference between a Latino and a Chicano, I mean, you're welcome to do so.
Nah, that's a whole different. That takes too much time. That passive.
Okay, where are you from?
I'm sorry.
Are you from like Mexico?
Yeah, well,
Hello?
I'm from Los Angeles.
I'm
Stop
talking
in the
about,
past-
but
Hey,
where would
hey,
you say
homie,
where would
hey,
you say
man,
your people come
hey,
from?
man. Hey, stop doing that passive aggressive weird shit where unless you got like two devices going, because you're doing like this like weird pause between shit that nobody else is doing. So unless
No, I'm
that's a
trying to listen to what you're saying.
well, unless you can fucking do it like in real time like everybody else, then cut your devices off. You know what I'm saying? Where am I from? I'm from Torrance, California. Torrance fucking Memorial Hospital, cabron. Harbor area. What's up?
Yeah, and I'm from Texas, for
Mm.
work, but my heritage, my lineage, or my people go to Africa.
Yeah, well, my
I have an
lineage right here. I'm
understanding
I'm
of that.
indigenous to Aslan. I'm indigenous to this soil. What's up?
Let me cut in real quick.
So
if
you're
y'all don't
saying that
mind.
you're a Native American?
Yeah. I
See,
am.
I see what the brother's saying, because we can't have a conversation about fixing ourselves when you getting offensive when we're just having a
Yeah,
conversation.
he
to try to
calling him.
find out
He
what's going
calling
on
him
with
out
you.
his name. That was very.
I'm just trying to find out what's going on. I don't really know if you're a Latino, if that's offensive to you. I didn't say that to be offensive. You see what I'm saying?
Fuck a
But
Latino.
hold
I
on.
thought that's what you
See, that's why I
Hold
was
as a
on,
general
saying.
term,
hold
I thought
on,
that's what it was.
hold on.
Let me
Hold
cut
on,
you off
everybody.
so you
Hold
can
up, James.
I'm
Hold up.
now.
You silly
Oh,
for that.
hold
You
on.
silly for
Everybody
that.
stop for a second.
Nah, you said
Everybody hold up for a second. We ain't gonna go back and forth. Let everybody give each other person a chance to talk, right? Let's think if we ain't on the topic, then we don't want to get off the topic, man, and it just takes away from what we talking about.
say,
All
Pumpkin, you
right.
got a 2-minute clock, homie? You need to give us 2
Who?
minutes because these brothers long-winded as a motherfucker, man.
But it's good though, because it's
Nah,
informative, it's
but
information.
everybody can't speak though.
But you're gonna get a chance to speak when he finish.
I know,
Just
but that's
everybody to
why I
be
said if
just
you gonna
if
monitor,
you take. But
hold
listen,
on,
if you
if
talk
you gonna
5
mediate
minutes,
and you gonna run
no,
the shit, just cut it to 2 minutes. That's
no,
respectful,
no,
bro.
no. I'm gonna let you get your point across however long it takes you to articulate it.
I only
I'm
need 2
just saying,
minutes.
just don't let's stay on the topic. Let's not go back for who this, what. No, let's just stay what we talking about.
yeah.
Let's keep it like that.
James
All right.
getting off topic.
So, all right, hold on. We just gonna keep it like that, man, and just keep it smooth. You feel me? All right, y'all go ahead. Now, who want to speak first?
Let me go.
All right, go ahead.
Nah, James felt very impassioned. No, my bad.
No, if you want to go, you can go. Okay, I'll go. See, that's why I say when we have other ethnicities, I use that for better terms. In conversations with us, they can disrespect us by calling us out our name, and we gotta go with it. You understand me? Like cabrón, I know what that means. You know, I know all the bad words of Spanish. So my partners, I had that's why I say I'm pro-black, but I got SA partners and I got white homies.
I could tell. I can feel it, bro.
My SA homies told me what Pinchy Negro when they called me that. No, they don't shit me.
I didn't say
Nah, I know. I'm just
So
using
hold
this.
up, you saying he said something that was disrespectful in his language, and I see, because I don't.
Hold
speak
on, bro.
Spanish.
Let everybody talk, bro.
Let me
Let's
finish,
one
bro.
person talk.
Be a man.
Let one person talk, bro.
So all the bad words that Mexicans could say to me, I know them, bro.
Good.
You know what I'm saying? So when you called him that, bro, that was kind of triggering.
What did I call him? No. What did I call
called him? A cabrón.
We all call each other. That means homie. That's like we all.
Nah, that don't mean homie, man.
Yes, it does. No,
cabrón is like bitch or
about
something like that, man.
We all call each other cabron. It means
Okay.
It's a term of affection. It's a term of affection. If you don't know that, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna tell you
Man,
right
cabrón
now.
ain't no term of affection,
Cabron,
man.
my cabron. We talk that like we all day. What are you
Man,
talking about?
hey, listen,
You don't know what
listen,
you're talking about.
Eyeball.
You're tripping, homie. You don't know.
I got some SA homies, right?
Well, good for you.
And they told me this. They told me.
We
They
all
told
talk
me.
like that. Good for you.
Damn, can I talk?
You're talking. Talk.
Go, home. Go.
Cabron.
Well, no. Let me get back to what I was, so I can go ahead and slide up out of here.
Habla que fucking chingue talk, homie. Cabron, you're taking so long. That's how we talk. How do you think we talk to each other?
But hell, hold on.
You
I
think
just
we don't
got
say
on here. I don't
cabron
think
to
I
each
was
other?
talking that
You
long.
think that Mexicans don't call Mexicans cabron? You're tripping. You're
Well, no, that ain't even
tripping.
so now you're a Mexican. So if I call you a Mexican, would you get offended?
That's a different concept. You're totally tripping on the Mexican.
No, but I
You're
wasn't. But I'm
Mexican.
trying to
That's
listen
no
to what
problem.
I'm saying, Eyeball. I was not trying to be offensive by
No,
calling you a
I'm not taking
Latino.
it that way.
Okay, well then when you said something like maybe I'm confused, but it seemed like you were offended
No.
by that. So my apologies if you offended, but I don't really necessarily have these type of conversations. So that's why I thought that it was interesting that you were here.
I can tell you do not engage with Mexicans.
No,
me.
hold on. I didn't
can
say that.
feel it.
I don't talk about our
Obvious.
racial issues with them. I have Mexican neighbors that stay all around me. We
I'm
talk all
sure,
the time.
and I'm
Hey,
sure you don't have.
But
any
let me say this. Let me say this, Eyeball. Like it's a real legit thing that a lot
That's
of
legit. Sure. Hey,
no, listen, a lot of brothers and sisters don't understand for real, the difference between a Chicano and a Latino. Like they don't, bro. So when he asked you that question,
that's cool.
that was a legit question that he was asking you. He wasn't really trying to be like funny or weird or no shit like that. He was really asking because a lot of people, like, you got to understand, a lot of us don't even know our history. So they definitely don't know the historical perspective of the Mexican people and why some people identify more with being Spanish and so on and so forth. So, you know, I really think that bro was really asking you that question as a legit question because he didn't know the difference and he didn't want to be disrespectful.
My bad. Okay, right. I get that. My bad. You know, but I think that it's too easy. And I heard everything you said, bro. But I think that it's too easy when we jump off on connotative linguistics, when we get this idea of what is a black neighbor.
Let me ask you this: how will we know the difference?
How do you know the difference of what, of who is like a genuine
between a Latino and a Chicano? How will we know the difference?
You can't know it until you talk to them. That's the problem.
Oh,
because,
okay.
Well, hey, how can I tell the difference between you and Charleston White, homie?
I wouldn't get offended because me and Charleston White are the same.
How can I tell? How can I tell? That's the question. Answer the question.
Can't because me and Charleston White are the same.
Okay.
Only thing you can tell the difference between us is our character. But he's an African American like me.
How do you know the character? You don't know it until
you know the character by what you see.
Question.
So when you keep seeing him behaving the way that he's behaving, you differentiate that man from the next. That's how you do it.
Heru said the question earlier. That was such a beautiful point. It's so circular and perfect because you don't know until you ask the question and they answer.
I asked you.
What's the question, homie?
When you got offended, I asked you what was the difference between Chicano and Latino because you were offended that I called you.
No, that's not. We can go back to the fucking tape.
And you said it would be too long to explain, but I don't think so.
I know myself, and I would not get offended if somebody asked me that simple ass question. Do you want to know the answer to that simple question?
That's what just happened.
You were off on some other connotative path, and we could go back to the fucking live stream tomorrow. But do you want to know the answer to that question? Because that's a whole conversation. The whole life.
True.
Are we trying to talk about
Hey,
that?
let me stop it right here. Man, we're gonna stop that right there. We're gonna go back to the conversation that we was having. Initially what the Prince asked. This is going, we ain't even on that. That's like he said, that's a whole nother live. We can get on that another day. Like, but then I'm gonna speak on that too. He, like Haru said, we don't know for as black people, we don't understand other races. We don't take time out to study, right? Or try to go upon ourselves and just investigate it for real, and really know what it is. So we can get on here and have we can have a million debates about this. Nobody gonna be able to say for fact. Only the person that gonna know the fact, and the person that don't know, they're gonna be speaking for how they think it is. We all had what we want to do right here though is we want to speak from a fact. We want to speak from some knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Not from what a debate, what this or that is. We're not trying to identify that. We're trying to identify what Prince was said about. I got Eyeball and the Prince here to have a conversation about him saying that he shouldn't speak on on black people business and why he feel that way. And they just having this dialogue. This is not a debate. This ain't no like we going back and forth. It's an argument. It's me and just talking to get understanding and reach understanding because we can learn from each other. So we want to keep it right there. We don't, if it's anything other than that, we don't need to talk about it.
Okay, I'll go.
Cool.
And so, Eyeball, you say you identify with Malcolm. I know for a fact that Malcolm was biracial, you know, but I think Malcolm more identified with black, Negro, African American, whatever we is. You dig what I'm saying? So when you say you identify as with him, you saying you identify as black, which you can't, homie. Like if me and you turn on our cameras, bro, we know you ain't black, homie. So don't So don't say you identify with Malcolm. Just say you like his teaching. You know, that's fine. You can't identify with Malcolm. You know, you can like.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. What I said was Malcolm is my father, and I also said that his mother. And you just said, and I respect what you're saying. You know what I love about you, bro? I got 100% respect for you, Prince. Let me say. So when I'm bringing anything, like it's to you with love. Let me say that because you're a family man, and so am I. I have a daughter that I'm trying to raise right. You know what I mean? I work hard for my money. God help me, and I support any non-white man who is conscious, and you're a knowing man. You're a thinker. You're a thinking. And James, you too. And that's why I love Real. And that, you know, hey, like I love any non-white man who's like thinking, is thinking man, like is conscious, is trying and fighting. And that's me. We may be in different worlds, community wise, but like I really appreciate I love what you're saying. But it's like fuck, I lost it again, homie. I lost it again. I'm
gonna pick up for you. But one of your homies in the chat is saying that you did say you identify with his ideology.
Right. That was it. What I was trying to say was you said that he was biracial. Didn't you say that?
Yeah, I did.
And so you're saying that his mother was white. Is that what you said?
Right. Correct.
You said that.
Malcolm's mother is not white.
Hey, hold on, James. Homie said it. Homie said it. Homie said, "Hey, hold up, bro. Hey, bro, real quick." Homie said Louise Little was white, and that's my whole framework is based on Louise Little. That's Malcolm's mom. She was not white.
What was her ethnicity?
On the land right there. She wasn't white.
Can you tell me what her ethnicity was?
I can tell you that she had at least one pinche cabron drop in her cabron. That's all I'm saying. And that's love, homie. I mean, out of love.
Okay, now let me say this, Eyeball. Now you know that Spanish has different, like you got slang Spanish, you got proper Spanish, and all of that, right? Am I right or wrong? Just yes or no?
You want to go back to the Spanish?
No, yes or no?
Hey, dude, already laid out the Inquisition.
Just yes or no?
Hey, you want Heru to go back to the
Prince? Let James have the mic, bro, because James been trying to say something.
No, man, we talking right. Hold on, let me finish.
No, they don't want me to talk. Just go ahead and let them keep talking.
So when he say, hold on, man. When he's wrong,
go ahead.
Bro, positive shit. It's like me calling him. It's like me calling him Inchi, and I'm saying, nah, that don't mean bitch. It mean yes, sir. Spanish got two different fucking meanings, bro. You can use Spanish in a slang connotation.
Share the screen. Hey, hold on right quick. Let me ask Haru. Can you share the screen?
Y'all stop. That's why I say they shouldn't even be over. Okay, bro. Y'all know every motherfucking thing.
But Pete, Prince, it's like you gotta understand if they speak in slang, like people use terminology in slang, bro, and it don't necessarily indicate that somebody's like trying to directly insult each other. So if me and James talking to one another and we already got a rapport with one another, I might say, shit, my nigga. But that's how we address each other and that's how we talk. So at the end of the day, you know, I think what is happening in this particular situation, bro, is like it's a preconceived thought process already. So, you know, it's like it's gonna be met with so much aggression. And you know, that's why I was just trying to let James say something, because
Right.
hopefully it would change the direction of the conversation, and we could all get back on the even keel to where it's not something that could be a powder keg in the room.
Yeah, well, all I was trying to do was just identify what his position was, because I noticed that he said that it was hip hop that gave him an affinity for the African culture, you know, and I noticed that a lot of people in this particular space within the last 30 years, specifically like um, Europeans and Hispanics have gravitated to this culture based on hip hop. You see what I'm saying? So this is not something that I'm just making up, because prior to hip hop, they had an affinity for their own cultures. So now we see Hispanics, Asians, Europeans using the word nigga freely, and they're doing a whole bunch of other stuff that they didn't do 30 years ago. So that's what I was identifying, what he was saying as the reason as to why he have affinity for African culture.
Can I respond to that real quick, James? Like, I respect that, and that writ large, that's the thing. One, I never use that fucking word. If you ever heard me, sorry, real. If you ever heard me use that word, you're lying. I never use that word. You know why? Because when I was a non-white Chicano male growing up in suburb white America, you know who put me on and stood me up on my feet? It's so symbolic. It's almost like the pinche cabrón. Like, it's like a Yaqub. It's like who stood me. No, it's like the Nation of Islam. Like, he stood me up and cleaned me up and picked me up and like cleaned me, homie. Like, you know who it was? It was a black male with like a consciousness, and it was their family that put me on and cleaned me up and put me on. So that's one thing. But then it doesn't extend to a total what do you call it? Like adoption, or like take like how can it be that the descendants of the African diaspora put me on and cleaned me up and taught me about consciousness so that I might seek out my own indigenous American consciousness? Help me with this, right? Help me. They put me on and they said,
because
hey,
that's the power
seek
of the African
that out. And then now I'm seeking it out. And then what does that look like? Return. That's a. You're saying that it has something to do with like a fucking perversion of hip hop culture? Nah, bro. That has to do with each one reach one, each one teach one. That's the fucking ideology that stood forth and that still stands. And if you have the knowledge, you reach out and you grab one. You say, hey, you poor little ignorant bastard. I know you don't know shit about your life, but I'm going to pick you up and I'm going to put you on. I'm going to stand you up right now. I'm going to clean you up. Go forth now. Command the self in the G form. It has nothing. You see, you're stuck, homie. You're
This is
stuck.
crazy.
Pick up. Hey,
So
pick
you
up.
telling me I'm crazy? I don't know my own culture.
No, I didn't say that.
Basically, that's what you're telling me, because
No,
you're talking about. Okay, let me ask you this:
Hold on.
Did you
Stop.
find out about Malcolm
No, wait,
first or hip
stop.
hop?
Hold on. Listen.
Man, you gotta let me
Listen.
ask them
No,
questions.
hold up. No. I'm not for let nobody do that.
Oh man,
What this conversation is turning into is this against that.
he
This ain't
doing
what
that.
this. Hold up, bro.
You're right.
Hold
My
up.
bad.
Hold
No,
up. Cause I'm finna stop all this.
my bad.
I'm finna stop it all.
I was wrong.
Listen, we're not talking about going back and forth. Who this. This wasn't even the conversation we was on. But y'all want to keep going back to
Yeah,
that, and we're not going to do that. That's what I'm at. That's what I'm asking everybody out of respect. We was having a square business dialogue. Now it's going. We talking rocks. We ain't talking
Right.
rocks because we're not going to reach no understanding. Nobody's gaining nothing out of this. We might as well be on here talking about loco and arguing and bullshit like that. Because this is what
Right.
this is turning into, because we're getting away from what we were actually talking about. So it doesn't.
Now,
If we wanna talk about this, that, and the other, then this another, man. This conversation that we started on is evolved to something different. We not trying to be on that. I want to stay on the
well, hey,
topic
I'm just telling
because
you
no,
because I'm
listen, bro,
offended.
listen.
I'm
I
offended
no,
by
listen. I'm
his
talking.
tone. I
Listen, bro.
didn't do this.
Hold up, bro. Listen. We doing the show, and everybody. I'm talking to everybody. Let's stay on the topic. That's it. That's, you know what I'm saying. If we can't stay on the topic, then we stop the topic, and then we can start talking about something else. or we can kill it.
Let Prince talk, man.
That's
Let
all
him
I'm asking.
relax.
Out of respect for everybody, let's not quit going back and forth. Who's this? That you can't say this. You know who to say you could do that. We talking about what we from our experiences. Ain't nobody can tell nobody about each other's experiences or how they feel about it. Nobody right or wrong. Just speak on it, and then not trying to make it personal or directing it to one group or this and that, because that's when we wasn't talking like that, right? So we all talking like men. So let's stay on that topic. If we can't talk like men, we just need to shut it down. We can come back another day when everybody calm down. So
Right. And let me say this too,
yeah,
man. Salute to Terrence the Great, because he got some valid points that he was dropping in the chat. You know what I'm saying? But you know, a larger part of this too that we gotta understand is that a lot of the shit that we deal with is based on our human experiences, and it's based on geographics. So like for me, right, growing up in Georgia and living in Florida, um, and being in the military, and traveling around, I haven't had the same interactions that a brother from Texas or California may have had with Mexicans. That would be a negative experience, so to speak. I have dealt with certain um back and forth situations where I done had to, potentially put hands on a few of them a couple times when I was in Fort Worth, but it was nothing real major. You know what I'm saying? Whereas somebody like Prince, based on what he done had to deal with and living in the neighborhood that he lived in, he probably done had the strap every day and everything else. So his human experience might be different from mine. You know what I mean? And the same for James, being somebody who lived in Texas his whole life, and even you neighborhood living in LA and Texas. So this is something that we all gotta be mindful of as well. And if it's a certain level of hostility or whatever that gets conveyed, sometimes it could be because of the different experiences that we done had. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta always take that into consideration when we having conversations and we trying to build whatever it is we trying to build. But what I want to say about what Terrence said, and I'm glad you came up here, brother. What he said in the chat is very, very true. That, and Eyeball even said it. If you just look at the Norteños and Sureños and the wars that they've been having in California alone, um, it shows that a lot of the same issues that they have, or we have in our culture, that they have as well. And the unfortunate thing about this is that when we go back through history and we understand the historical significance of who we are and who they are, we like cousins damn near. So, a lot of this shit we gotta realize that a lot of the things that have happened in the past, we gotta figure out ways to be able to get past them and to be able to see how we could build with each other versus trying to be destructive towards one another.
And salute to everybody
facts.
on this motherfucker, man.
What's
Salute
up?
to everybody, man.
Salute, Terrence. Speak on it.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
hey,
yeah. Go ahead, bro.
can I
You said some good shit.
Just in agreement with him. You know what I'm saying? Through
can
my
I say
studies.
something real quick? I gotta go, bro. I appreciate your neighborhood real for having this. Uh, you know what time it is, eyeball shit. It's
Oh yeah,
that
for
time
sure, man.
around
It's
us,
all
man.
love, bro.
Eyeball, I would love to have this dialogue with you. Maybe neighborhood could set it up where just me and you, because all this riffraff came up. You know what I'm saying? We was kind of getting to understand, then the riffraff came up. So, but man, if y'all would like to, man, subscribe to my channel, man. It's the Prince 432 on YouTube. I do
Tell them
gun
again.
reviews, cigar reviews, and I just have real conversations like this, homie. But
Tell them again.
salute to y'all. The Prince 432 is my name, homie. Simple as that. But I salute to you boys. I yield my mic. Great conversation. Y'all keep building and do it a little earlier so a man like me can have time to conversate with you brothers, and we'll get it going. But respect to the panel.
Peace.
Pissed off. But yeah, a lot of motherfuckers just be stuck on their ignorance, man, and they so ignorant they can't even understand that as being ignorant. I got a kid with a Mexican, right? I'm talking nigga, her uncles and grandpa nigga is full fledged 18 streets, nigga, veteranos, nigga, big beards, body tatted, all the shit. You know what I'm saying? They told me I better not bring mama out their ass over there. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. And they grandmama seen my son and then brought out pictures to show them their ancestors. And from then on, you know what I'm saying? It took that for them to motherfucking wake up and understand that you fighting the wrong fight. It ain't Mexican against black. We one and the same people. Like he said, we damn near cousins. When you go digging into their ancestry, they just as dark as us. Once you understand what was happening when motherfuckers was conquering lands and Spain went down there and brought that white color skin down there, you know what I mean? But people don't really be digging into their fucking history. Niggas only want to go as far as what they teach us in the schools. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers don't want to really dig.
I agree.
Right. That's real talk because like we talked about that yesterday and how Ru broke it down all the way, you know what I'm saying, from the origins of I can't even repeat it, bro, because he said so
I
much.
caught the end. I caught the end of it. You know what I
But
mean?
I mean, if you don't mind, Haru, you'll break that down because when you was talking about the Olmec people.
Yeah, I mean, it's real simple when you look at the Olmec people. They are the people that the Olmec means rubber people, and another term that's used in Native American or indigenous culture is the name She, which is XI, and it also means the rubber people because the Olmec they brought the rubber plant from the east to the west, and this was the oldest indigenous culture in Mexico, in Central America, in South America. And after the Olmecs came the Toltecs, then the Aztecs, the Mayans, and the Incas, right? Which all of these people, truthfully, were, if we look at it and categorize it the right way, was indigenous Americans before the Spaniards or the conquistadors came. So this is really what brought the racism that we see when you and this is another reason why people like Eyeball who know that history, they will identify with the difference between Chicanos and Latinos, because there are some people that identify more with the conquistador ideology and how they brought the separation. But what I was saying also as well yesterday is that's why when you look at the ancient Native American cultures, there's a classification of what they call black eagle and what they call red eagle. And these were what they would consider to be the black or the African indigenous American people versus the what they would consider red eagle, which was more of a African that was mixed with an Asian, that we see now today that looks more like the people that you see in places like El Salvador, Mexico, Peru, and different places like that.
All right, so I got a question. If we are the first people on Earth, right, or whatever you want to call us, black, whatever the fuck, how can we be mixed with them? Every origin or every ethnicity come from us.
Right. So when we went different places, right? It's
No, no,
when
no,
you
no, no. I'll say this. From my thing is right. We existed on everywhere that there's land on the world. We didn't
right,
we didn't have to travel all the time because when we traveled, we were met with people that was just like us, the same skin color and all that. When you dig into the aboriginals of every land, they look just like us.
Except
And
right,
that's kind of like why we was able to fall into slavery and the 15th the 14 to 13 colonies and all that. Those first British people that was over here look just like us. Those first
Hold on, hold on.
everything, feel me, every land look just like us.
Hold on, peace, brother Terrence. So do you believe in DNA? Do you acknowledge DNA testing or anything like that?
I believe that DNA testing is something new. 2,000 years ago, DNA testing did not exist.
Right.
And if you wanna
the
like dig
TV, the
into,
internet. Oh, hold on, but the TV, the internet, none of that existed, right? So as we go along here,
no, I wouldn't even say that, bro, because we wasn't even around to know that. You know what I'm saying?
So
Some
you
kind of
saying
technology
they had the internet and all
some
that
kind
back
of
then?
technology existed back
I'm just
then.
talking about the internet,
Well,
like cars, airplanes. You saying
The
all that
internet is a reproduction of the human mind.
okay.
So I agree with some of what you said, but I don't agree with everything you said, Terrence. And definitely we were the original people and we migrated to different places. And as we migrated to different places, us being in different environments over hundreds and hundreds of years, our appearances started to change. So for instance, if a person is not in Africa, right, and a area where it gets to be 108 degrees, 114 degrees in certain parts of Africa and what they call the Middle East
And
today.
pigment change and all of that type of shit. But
Correct. So wait a minute, let me finish. So when we talk about us going to different places and migrating to different places, we migrated true indeed different places all over the planet. However, what happened throughout time, and then when we start to talk about the um the different classifications of what ended up coming about when they said that there was a Negroid, Mongoloid, and Caucasoid race, this is where we start to now identify with different geographical locations that our people went and how
that's still
different things.
something new though. Like Johann Blumenbach, he was the one who classified all of that. You feel me?
Correct.
Mongoloids, Negroids, and all of that, and that was the 1700s. We talking about a world that's been in existence, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you even do the due diligence on the continent of Africa and see when it became Africa, that was just the 1800s. So if slavery was taking place way before there, how can we be from somewhere that wasn't even that name? They got us believing that we from Africa, and the time when we supposedly came from over here, it wasn't even called Africa. So how can we even call ourselves African American if the slave shit was true? The place we came from wasn't even named Africa.
Hey,
These are all like modern concepts. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, so do you call yourself an American?
Who, me? Yeah, I call myself an American. I was born in America.
That's wild. So how long has it been America?
This has always been America. It's been North, South, and Central America.
Always?
Don't get it confused with United States. Before that, it was Unidos dos Mexico. This was the United States of Mexico. Before it was even the United States of America.
Okay.
But this has always been the land of America.
Before that,
once you get down into like language and see how shit was spelled out Morocco and you take away consonants and all of that type of shit, it's always been the same. Amir.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with what he said about that. And I agree with you what you saying about the landmass wasn't always called Africa. So I agree with you on that as well. It was Ta at one point, it was Tamaray, at another point it was Al Kibulan. So I'm familiar with all those different titles, you know. However, when we start to talk about when we start talking about history, we start talking about anthropology and stuff like that, then there is certain definitive markers that we have to identify with when we start to talk about how things changed as far as from a DNA change, and as well as some of us being or some of the beings on this planet being mutated.
Yeah, but see, I don't know. I think that, you know what I'm saying, nobody could change man from their descent nature if their hand don't reach further than God. So all of these extra names we taking on, this political shit, the black and the African American and all that type of shit, you feel me? Like, That's just chasing after what man believes. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to get back into some God concept. Niggas need God in their life.
No, no, hey, whoa. You gotta nuance it more than fucking God and man.
Right.
Because within man, there are levels to riches and poor. You know, like there's levels to the civic participation. You're talking about like people who are governors and people who are lawyers and people who are teachers and people who are fucking, whatever, and people who are nobodies. So
Nah, when you dig off into like people's ideology, right? Like even the Webster dictionary. I just studied the guy Noah Webster, right? The reason why he created the 1828 dictionary is to Christianize America. His dad was a slave owner. So the shit that some people teach you is based on their parents' hatred beliefs that was instilled into them. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Even if they're in a government position or whatever, you don't know what the fuck they precedent for.
I'm sorry.
They was raised to hate.
I'm sorry, so hard. But it's 2023. Doesn't everybody know that?
Nah, you can't say it's 2023. The same shit been happening over and over and over and over and over again. It's something that's being left out that's keeping this cycle repeating. Nobody, you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
hold on. What God are you
ballots or
talking
bullets? Is it ballots or bullets? How do we find sovereignty? How do we get free?
No man can be sovereignty. Only a nation can be sovereign.
No. Come on. Okay, a nation. You're talking about a nation state.
Only a nation state can be sovereign. One particular person can't be sovereign.
What do we need to identify? I'm not black, but I'm saying
I'm not black either. We gotta look into the political arena. You feel me? When it comes to politics, I would say that we're supposed to identify as more. That's the only thing that has political standing. Even like when you go off into some of the Spanish origin, when you go off into what was the king name? Montezuma. When you read off into him, he was a Moorish king, right? When America was doing deals with the Britain colony to make this the United States of America, they were asking for their money in Spanish pesos. So it's like we gotta, you know what I'm saying? It's like we gotta go into this shit to really see. We can't just say, fuck it, I'm gonna identify with this because the general public is identifying with this. This is where we get lost. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's right. You got to get into it. Let me say this and then my land, James. Like if you look at my como se llama, the avatar. I don't know if you guys can see it. If you see my avatar, I'm standing with two women. To my right is my aunt Lisa. She's born and raised in the harbor area. To my left is my grandma. That's my abuelita Catalina Cordoba. Her last name is Cordoba. The reason I'm bringing it up is because Cordoba, Qurutuba, is the same as Quran. So we have Moorish blood that goes back through Spanish Inquisition hasta la pinche cabron, North Africa. So por mi abuelita esa, ella, Catalina, that's my Moorish blood. So all I'm trying to say is your point is well taken in that we need to look at the words, break them down, and Heru always does this. Like, how do we look? And Malcolm has said this. Malcolm taught this. He said, philology, other words, linguistics. Break down the language, the morphology, the syntax, the semantics, and we can find our stories back home. I'll land there. Thank you.
Right. And I'll say as well that every man can be autonomous because it's about understanding what office you take to take control of your estate. So every man could be autonomous and be his own individual flesh and blood being. And there are remedies outside of the whole Moorish slant, because we also have to realize, just as the Moors had the admiralty law and they knew certain things, the indigenous citizens of this country that pre-existed the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and even the creation of the trust actually are the real landowners.
Yeah, that was during the Articles of Confederation. That's the first thing that cracked. The Articles of Confederation. When you go back and see who wrote that, they were Moors. You feel me? And then from there, it went to the Articles of Association. Then came the Declaration of Independence. Then came the Constitution. You know what I'm saying? Moor only means people of dark skin. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people be hearing the Moor shit and they go left because it's a lot of motherfuckers who don't have a full understanding of what it is. But this is a heritage, bro, that dates back to the beginning of time, bro. And it ties us all in together. A lot of people run from Moors because they thinking about religion. But you know what I mean? Until you study, like you said, the words and see exactly what they mean, who put things in place. You know what I'm saying? We running from this very shit our ancestors left for us. This is why it says we left our birthright. Why we got to go take ourselves out of this system, because we're running from the very thing that was established for us.
Well, a large part of what happened too, as well, is the religious indoctrination that came with the creation of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Nah. You can't say that because Islam was created way before the Moorish Science Temple of America came along.
Right.
Islam was created in
I'm not talking about
Islam
itself.
AD, man.
I'm not talking about Islam itself. I'm talking about, and truth be told, Islam is a plagiarization of what was on the walls in ancient Kemet as well. But when you talk
But
about,
it's the spirit of it, right? Because like when you study Islam, right, and what Islam means in Arabic, it only means peace. So the things that's been studied for millions and millions of years is the religion of peace. That's all it is. It's an interpretation of
right,
peace. When you
right,
read any holy book, they talking about peace. Jesus was the Prince of Peace. They did Salam. They did all of this shit. It's all about peace.
at the same time, if you gonna try to say that and you gonna subscribe to it, then why couldn't it have always stayed in its original context? And if we gonna say that Islam is Islam and it means peace, why couldn't we just say Imhotep, which was the original word that it was plagiarized from? And if we gonna identify with the Fez, why we couldn't just keep it as the Tarbush, which is what it was called when it was wore by the pharaohs in ancient Kemet? And if we gonna talk about that, then we need to talk about the fact that all of
So
the shit that
what ancient Kemet are you talking about?
let me finish. So if we gonna talk about all of that, then it needs to be put all the way back in its original perspective and given the true power that it should be given, to show that all of these things was really plagiarized from the walls of ancient Kemet. So even when we start to talk about the Moorish Science Temple and we start to
You
talk
never
about
even brought up the
everything that
Moorish
was
Science Temple.
created,
You brought the Moorish Science Temple up, but yeah, go
right,
ahead.
right. But when we start talking about Moors in America, you can't say nothing about the Moors and not acknowledge the religious indoctrination and people that want to subscribe to that part of it. You
But what is
understand what I'm saying?
what is the religious doc? What is that? What are we talking about? What is the
I mean,
religious doctrine?
Noble Drew Ali brought forth the
Oh, here we
Aquarian
go.
Gospel of
Come on,
Jesus
y'all.
Christ and called it the Circle 7 Quran.
You said he brought forth what?
He renamed the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus Christ and called it the Circle 7 Quran.
Not the
So
whole thing. He took a couple of scriptures out of there. He did, yeah.
right, the Circle 7 Quran is a plagiarization of
But
the
it's
Aquarian
not a
Gospel of Jesus Christ.
plagiarization, bro. It's all based on the religion of peace. He
Come
just
on.
Let him
shared
finish, Terrence. Let him finish,
peace.
Terrence. Everybody
Yeah,
talking
go ahead.
one time. Let him finish.
Right. I mean, what I'm saying is this: if we're gonna try to identify with Islam and the Moors and say all of this stuff that we saying, then why did it have to be taken out of the original context that it existed on the walls, where our story is there and is full and is much more to it than what's being taught and indoctrinated into our people through religion? We never had religion. We had spirituality and we had a way of life that was much greater than any indoctrinated form of anything that could have been brought forth in any book. The book was written on the walls. And when we say stuff like that's written in stone, what does that really mean? That means it's solidified. It's not on some paper. So when we start to talk about all of these different ideas and concepts and everything else, and trust me, my legal name is Dwayne Hendricks L. So I know what I'm talking about. You understand what I'm saying? And then been through the whole process with that. And truthfully, I'm still going a step further and I'm doing the Native American side of it now, because That's where the true autonomy is, and that's what gives us the real power that we need to have here on these shores to say this is our shit.
Well, actually, it's American Indian. Native American came along with nativism. You know what I'm saying? Which is a modern concept. When the what are they called? The fucking Eskimos mixed with the Europeans, and they created this new $5 Indian. That's where nativism came from. But I feel what you're saying. My legal name, my legal name ends with Bay. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. I don't agree with a lot of shit.
Yeah, but
You know what I'm
see,
saying?
let me just say something real quick. See, a
But
lot
the
of
truth
this
is
is
the truth. You can't refute the truth. And what I'm
No,
saying is
no,
that
it's not the truth. It's just, it'll take all day to like be breaking it down and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because like when you get on, you talk about the ancient walls of Kemet. Are you talking about the ones that's over there? Or are you talking about the ones that's over here?
I'm talking
And
about
then
over
and then
there because
when you learn how to read the hieroglyphs, you know what I'm saying? There's three
come from
different ways
Africa.
to read the hieroglyphs. You know what I'm saying? And then even in the hieroglyphs or those writing on the walls, you will find more. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta
right,
cite
and
your
Wow,
more
But
means
sources.
dead.
you have to understand it.
Cite your sources. You know what I'm saying?
that's not true.
What's your lineage? It comes down to like, what is your lineage? Have you been there? Have you been to the Giza? Have you been to the pyramids, or are you just referencing some YouTube video?
I believe he just referenced some YouTube video.
No,
You know what I'm
this is
saying?
what happens. Hold on, this is what happens. See,
Because the pyramids in the Americas, are older than the pyramids over there.
that's
No,
not
they
true.
not.
And then,
See, this is
and
what
then
I'm
it comes
saying.
down
This
to the
what's going
person
on.
Oh,
just
man.
telling the story. Like, who vouches for you? And I'm saying, like, what's your lineage? It comes down to that. Like, okay, everybody knows this at this point. Like, technology has provided that we can all have access to the entire story of ancient Kemet, right? Like, we got it, homie. Like, in big ups to Tariq Nasheed, he did it. But like, what is your lineage as a storyteller? Like, who are we? Does that matter? My bad. Go ahead, Jan.
Well, see, you got to understand. Well, for me myself, I say that my people came off of a slave boat. Now, some people may not agree with
But why
that.
would you do that? I just want to question. Why would you do that if you wasn't there? Like you have no evidence. They have never
Well,
found a
okay,
slave.
well, that would be the same thing. You would not have evidence that you was already here either. See what I'm saying? So I
No,
just
my
said that
evidence is
I
me.
said,
I
but
said
I'm just
me,
saying.
nigga.
Hold on,
I'm born in
hold on.
America.
You just cut me off. Hold on. I just said. Hold on. I said for me. Did you hear me say that? That was the first thing I said. For me, I said that my people come off a slave ship. I have no problem with that because I understand that genetically, the people that I come from are the greatest humans on this planet. So I don't have no problem with understanding, you know what I'm saying, where I come from. We run faster, we jump higher, we do a lot of things greater than a lot of the humans on this planet. So I don't have a problem with being genetically connected to Africa. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not embarrassed about being in Africa. But let me just say this: we have a lot of documentation of this through slave records and so forth. As far as what happens here in America, America was not America until Europeans got here. What these people call this land before the Europeans got here, we do not know. See what I'm saying? You have to be realistic. As far as the African American experience, we got our histories erased from us and re-indoctrinated with somebody else's story. If you
We
don't
wasn't African American until 1989.
Regardless of what we're calling ourselves today, the people that got off that ship got re-indoctrinated with
But
somebody
see,
else's story.
it depends on what you read, right? When you study the transatlantic slavery, it's two different stories, bro. It's a story where only 10,000 Africans came over here and was let free in the West Indies. That has nothing to do with the Americans, the people who was up here. The people who was up here is when Christopher Columbus came and said, "Oh, I'm gonna call them Indians because they look like the Indians." So how you gonna discredit all the other people that was in North America and then try to claim and say that that's your people that was from Africa? It just don't make sense. So what happened was that slave shit started going. That's why they say slavery was 400 years, right? Because America, the United States, was only 287 years old. You know what I'm saying? So slavery in America, you know what I'm saying, is looked at all wrong because it's North, South, and Central America. So it started in Central America with a handful of slaves. All the people that was here is not from Africa, bro. It's no reason why we don't look like Africans. Africans today
We don't
still
look
have their
Hold
same
on, let me ask you a question.
look,
Hold on,
bro.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me ask Terrence this, right? You're referencing a lot of stuff, but break this down for everybody listening and for myself because I'm curious. You're referencing a lot of stuff, and you're saying that you're saying this is right, this is wrong. So where are you getting this information from? To make this a fact, to make this the
Well,
override what they're saying.
anybody can research what's been going on with this critical race theory and the 1619 story. When you go read the 1619 story, it's
But where you getting
anywhere
it
you
from?
can, it's anywhere you can research it. They got
I mean, I can.
1619.org.
I'm saying, where did you get it from?
Well, I go to more science class. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
But then I
so
just be doing
so
research.
hold on. Okay, hold on. Slow down. I know you like to kick knowledge. Slow down. See, I'm going somewhere. So you more Science Temple, right?
Yeah, I'm a part of the More Science Temple.
Okay, so then why? So this what I'm gonna say. See, when everybody subscribe to an ideology, they're gonna feel like their ideology is superior than everybody else's.
No,
But listen, hold on, listen.
I'm not
No, hear
talking
me
about
out. Hold on. So you gotta listen. See, if you listen to understand instead of listen to respond,
it.
it'll
I'm
go
listening.
better. Now listen. You responded. You're not trying to understand. See, this is I'm listening, so I can go through right like me. I set up. I did a lot of studying. I did a lot of reading. I can sit up and we can get it as everybody been talking. It just bring all my Rolodex up. I can just go and verbatim just go to rolling off a whole bunch of information I read, but that doesn't actually say that I really know this is to be true. Now we could go with certain things that we know that can be fact that we can't dispute. Like he said, if things are written in stone, it's no disputing that. But when we go to reading off ideologies and stuff like that, then we have to all question each other's ideology. Where did you get it from? So now when we know where it derived from, then that ideology no longer has no basis to stand on because it wasn't no original thing. So if it was original, then we will all be subscribed to that same thing, and then nobody would be doing none of this. So when we be talking about information that we're putting out there, we want to put the reference where you getting this information from, so people can go search it because we're talking about an ideology. We're not talking about the real things. Because like I can say this just for the mix of it. None of us was back there in that time, so none of us really know. We're relying on what other men laid out, you know what I'm saying, put out there so we can say this is the truth or not. We actually don't, none of us actually know nothing because we wasn't there. So we can have the debate, which is good, but when we talking about these ideologies and these histories and the numbers and when it happened and this versus that, I can get my Jamaican partner on here and he'll tell you a whole different story.
Right.
About how the slaves came to Jamaica and all through the West End. Because I already done that. He's already done that on the live.
Jamaica is actually
So this is what I was saying.
actually in a con word.
This is what I'm saying though.
Jamaica,
Hey,
The Moorish Science Temple of America don't teach shit about slavery in the 1619 story that I was talking about. I just told you that's what I go to school for. You know what I'm saying? We don't teach that. If you don't know the Moorish Science Temple ideology, you can't say certain things that are coming from there because you've never been there to get their teachings and shit.
framework.
This is just
It's a whole framework.
and look, I've been there. I've done that. I walked.
but they don't teach you about no 1619 concept. They don't teach you about slavery and all of that type of shit. This is other things that I research. If you just look at the president, what's going on in the world, bro? I'm not even speaking of Moorish science though.
Yeah,
This is the thing.
though.
If you've been there done that, you would know that I'm not speaking about more science.
Why is the flag of the Moorish Science Temple the colors that it is?
We're not even in that right now. We're talking about slavery.
I'm asking you a question. Since you talk about the Moorish Science Temple of America,
how about equation? Like, what's the science equate to, or like, what's the outcome?
Nah. Hold up, Eyeball.
I'm not even trying to put the Moorish Science Temple of America out front. You feel me? I'm just talking about the slave trade, and this man talking about we
Right,
all from Africa.
right. So here's
I
here's the
did
real
not say
deal.
that.
But that's the
Here's
thing.
the deal.
I'm trying to get away from that ideology. I don't want to put that out there.
Yeah,
We
but
just
Yeah,
talking common
well,
sense
I
shit.
said for
yeah.
me. That's
But
what you keep missing
he
at.
said for him, he said he identifies with being an African. That's what he said as far as
And see,
his
I
That's
personal
back it
fine.
up by
identity.
being 92.
Lineage.
Hold up, I took a
That's
Personal
fine.
DNA test
lineage.
and I
Tie
backed it
That's
yourself
up
fine.
to
by
a
being
teacher.
92.
No.
Hold up, I
Tie
took
yourself
a
to a
DNA
teacher.
Oh,
test.
hold up,
Hey,
Hey,
hold
one
up.
person
tie
talk, man. One
yourself.
person talk.
Tie yourself to a teacher. I'll tell you. I'll tie myself. Hey, mira. And I know whatever. Cabrón. It's a whole story. I tie myself to Ogaga Ifowodo. Say I'm my first name. Ogaga. That's my teacher. He's my mentor. He advocated for me. Cabrón. He's from well, he's from Nigeria, and his father is Wallace Soyinka. So, tie yourself to a teacher. That's how you tie yourself to a teaching. If you don't have a teaching, what are who are you? What are you teaching? What's your pedagogy?
Right.
If you
So I think this something that you don't. I think this something that you really don't understand, Eyeball.
I
Like
don't,
how serious of a conversation this is amongst people from our community, because what's really going on is a real psyop taking place with people in the Americas that are melanated to try to shit on Africa or negate Africa. So when we start to
But
talk
have y'all
about,
ever studied that at one point in time the whole world was called
can I
Africa?
can I finish? Can I finish? So when we start to talk about everything that's going on right now, yeah, true. It was a lie about the numbers as far as the people that came to the Americas from the transatlantic slave trade. It is true that most people that were kidnapped from Africa never made it to these shores. They ended up in places like Brazil and they ended up in places like Jamaica and the
Caribbean
Caribbean.
island.
All that is true. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? At the same time, in my first book that I wrote that came out in 2016, which means that I've been on this shit way before the end. The book came out in 2016. I started writing it in 2010. I was able to do research and found out that they found a 200 million year old piece of Africa that was underneath the magnetic grid in Alabama, because this land was once connected. So if you go right now to the east coast of the Americas and you was able to look on a map and understand that you could look directly across from Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, and you'll see the same red clay that's in Western Africa because it all used to be connected. And
Yeah,
that's
the
why
same
right now,
animals, everything.
huh?
Animals.
Same animals. Yeah, the camel nigga originated right here in America. Corn originated in America. It's certain fruits and vegetables that was only harvested here.
right.
Then they got
But hold up,
exported out.
camels
You know what I'm
ain't. Hold
saying?
up, camels is not from Africa, bro.
No, the corn.
I didn't
Focus
say they was from Africa. I said they from America.
on the
But
corn.
where are
Oh,
they at
okay.
now? They're usually known now for being in Africa or over there on that continent.
Right. So what's most important is that we realize and make the distinction between the fact that at one point these lands were all connected.
That part.
And when we start to understand that these were the same people that went all over the world, there were people that are from Africa originally that came here and were here well before any type of slave trade or anything took place, that were actually living here and thriving and had civilizations all throughout. That's why you could learn about the story of somebody like Ben York, who actually
Right.
was supposedly a slave that was on the Lewis and Clark expedition, and he took them through all of the states of the Louisiana Purchase, and he was able to communicate with all of the indigenous tribes in all of those different areas.
Wait,
And
well,
let me
why?
finish. Let me
Why?
finish.
And
Let me
why?
finish.
Because he
Let me
knew them.
finish. Let me finish.
My bad. My bad.
Let me finish. So this shows that when we talk about the language, in itself that all of these different tribes had this same language, and it also shows that this particular man that was supposedly a slave must have spoken the same language of these indigenous tribes, which meant that he truthfully wasn't somebody that was brought here. And most of the people that ended up in slavery were people that were the product of lost Native American wars, because they had what they call civilized tribes, and they had what they call uncivilized tribes. The uncivilized tribes were the tribes that wouldn't help the European settlers go kill other indigenous Americans. And the ones that were considered civilized tribes were people specifically like John Smith, who was a Cherokee, and that's who helped the Europeans in the area that I'm from eradicate my people, the Yamasee people. So that's the greater narrative that we need to understand, and we don't need to be pushing a narrative that pits Africa versus indigenous American culture, because truthfully, when you start to look at all of the different symbolism in Native American culture, you see the woman that wears a headband that has the same feather of Ma'at that is worn on the walls in ancient Kemet. When you see the war bonnet that the Native American chief wears, that's the same thing as the Namuz that the Pharaoh wore in ancient Kemet. When you see a totem pole, you see an obelisk, or what's called a Tekinu, in ancient Kemet. When you look at the colors of the Native American medicine wheel and you see black, red, white, and gold, those are the colors of alchemy, and the ancient name Al-Kemet is of ancient Egypt. When you look at the fact that Heru is the bird that is identified with as the deity of kingship in ancient Kemet, and then you understand that the Kachina, or the Native American deities, are actually called thunderbirds, it's really all the same science and the same culture. The only difference is that when you look at the deities and you look at the pantheon in ancient Kemet, you may see different animals and totems that you don't see in the Americas, because there aren't jaguars and panthers in ancient Kemet.
Right.
And they're not lions that appear in ancient Kemet that would be in the Americas. So that's the only difference. If we truthfully get outside of all of the differences and look at the science for what it really is, and what all of these different things was really attributed to, was the fact that our people always lived an organic life that was predicated upon nature. So that's why the spiritual system in ancient Tamaray or Kemet was called Metu Neta, which means Mother Nature.
Can I build on that?
Go ahead.
Everything correct, right? Like, let me build it real quick and then pass it. What I was taught in my Cabron, like my fucking white institutions, middle school, intermediate, Meadow Park, and Meadow Park Intermediate in Beaverton. They said, hey, they said, kings play chess on fine grain sand. That's KPO. Kings play King AKA. Look at me. KPCOFGS. Kings play chess on fine grain sand. Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. We get down to the species. Kingdom, that's how they do it, right? That's how they do it. I'm not saying this is right. That's how they, out of their perverted white supremacist ideology, this is the game. This is how those cabrones put it down. They said there's kingdoms, there's phylums, there's classes, there's orders, there's families, there's genuses, there's species, and we're down to the species. We're either human or non-human. Ooh, that's so good. And then the last thing I wanted to say, this is a text you can find on probably Google Google Docs or any doc. If not, send me an email. I'll send it to you. It's Alfredo Nunez Cabeza de Vaca. They were shipwrecked Spaniards. I have the text. And their guide was a black African Moor, right? Estebanico. He was the one who not only was in melanated as such as like tied back to the motherland, Africa, if you will, but also who knew the routes into the Americas, knew how to get to this and that. And look, how does he know? If the point is this, if the Moorish narrative, if the Moorish disposition about, we've been here forever and we've known that we've connected this to that, to the so-called Europe and to Africa, then Estebanico is a key. He's a real cool key to get to that narrative about how that manifested. I pass the baton. I see yield the floor. Ora later, Tasarik Nambe.
Hey, neighborhood.
What's happening, man?
Hey, man, look, man. I told you I was gonna be on this hoe for 30 minutes.
I know, man. Hey, man, look, man, I didn't even get nothing to eat.
Hey, man, look, I'm gonna leave you the fuck alone for like 2 weeks, mate.
All right, man, leave it alone, man. I'm gonna leave y'all alone. Y'all got me over fasting.
Hey, man, salute to the brothers on the panel. Salute to the chat.
Yeah,
man.
Salute to everybody, man. It's all love.
Peace.
Yeah, man. We gotta build on the shit we agree on, man, and put a lot of this other shit to the side, man.
For real.
Truth, man. We got to try to find truth and agree on truth.
Yeah, I agree with that. At the same time, the truth. So see, the thing about all of this shit, bro, is that some people only research to a certain point to make themselves feel good about wherever it is they standing. So what we really have to do is we really have to strip all that shit down and get our own house. Don't try to stand in the house that somebody else done built. Because if all that shit with the Moors and everything else, if that shit was meant to be what it was and it was supposed to be the ultimate solution, that shit dead. Noble Drew Ali dead. That shit over with. So when we talk about what the truth really is, the truth is the Moorish Science Temple came, that shit was established, all that shit was taught that it was taught, and that shit still ain't liberate nobody. We still fucked up. The same go for the Nation of Islam and all of these other mechanisms of indoctrination and ideology that another man created. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna write my own book, and I'm gonna stand on what I stand on, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to liberate me and mine. And those that are in that same like frequency and they gonna walk that same path, that's cool. But at the end of the day, when we start talking about all of this shit throughout history, we got to put it all in this proper perspective. And if we gonna go back to the origin, and we got to go all the way back to the origin.
That's correct. So I'm just dealing with chronology. I deal with what the European gave us.
Hey James, I know you on your shit, bro. But I know what your teachings is all about. I gotta drop, but I'm gonna listen to what you build on tomorrow. You know what I mean? But, salute Eyeball, salute the brother Terrence, salute my guy Neighborhood Real, man. Peace and love.
Yeah, peace. Yeah, but I'm gonna slide out too. But yeah, man, I just came in. I didn't want to offend nobody. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy that when you really just trying to get some answers and understand that the people get offended. But for the most part, man, I just deal with
pro-black, bro. I mean, build on that. Come on.
Yeah, I just pretty much just deal with the chronology of our history, dealing with what Europeans gave us was Jesus Christ and the Bible, coming from that understanding and looking for the truth just like most Africans, I think, are looking for. You can't start your history at 711 AD. You can't stop your history at 635 AD. You can't stop your history at 2. You can't stop your history at 1 AD, because African history goes way back to maybe something like the beginning of writing starts at, say, maybe 4000 BCE. That's when Africans start writing. So that's what I deal with, because I only wanted to find the truth in our history. So you got to start with where humans started writing at. So that's just to the brother Terrence. Don't stop your history at 711 AD. Go back as far as you can go. And then I think we'd all be better off if we just all start from the beginning. And I'll stop right there.
I've never got into anything that I believe or nothing yet. Y'all just heard Morris Science Temple and y'all just started, you know what I'm saying, making accusations and shit.
Nah, hey, I'm gonna say this.
Brought up
I'm
no
not
shit.
trying to be offensive with that.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm saying this. When you were speaking on a lot of stuff that you speaking on, I know it. So I'm like, but give it to the people that's listening. Where are you referencing it from? Like, you know what I'm saying? If you standing on it, be able to tell them, like, look, don't take my word for it. This is where it's at. This is where I got my studies from.
Shit that I say.
So they can so they can follow that. I'm not knocking it, because I mean, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? I hate to bring this up, but man, I sat in prison with all type of people that was studying all type of stuff. You could get every free book on the planet if you're incarcerated. I didn't studied all that. I ain't went to the temples and all that, but I studied all that. I'm around people that mess with that was deeper, way deeper than people, you know what I'm saying, I done met on the streets that really was taking their time and messing with it and on all ideologies and religions. So I partake in that. I got a theology. I got a degree in theology, bro. So then you can't sit here and be talking to me. And you know what I'm saying? I'm not judging. I just want, like, when we kicking like this, and you know, I appreciate the fact you pulled up, because I want, you know, I know you knowledgeable. So that's why I might pull up. So, but drop it. But then, you know what I'm saying? That's why I was saying earlier, we not slugging each other. We just, hey, this brother, this is where I got my knowledge from. Maybe we didn't know that. So we need to know where to get it from. You know what I'm saying? We like to, everybody want to know. So that's why I was just saying that. I mean, more scientific, I'm Muslim. So you know what I'm saying? I practice Islam. So you know what I'm saying? It's different. People going to attack that. So we know that. So we got to stand firm in what we know that's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Or we believe that's the truth, or we've been told that's true. We really don't know. So that's really me. I could really just say that. For me, I feel like I can say to people, we really don't know the truth, because it's been hidden from us so hard and long. We really actually don't know the truth. We all still seeking. So we all travelers. So let's just be travelers and hope we can reach the same destination.
That part.
Yeah, but shit, man, we're gonna tap out right here, man. And man, I appreciate everybody tapped in. It's all love. We, you know, we got a little bumps in the road, but we all good because we kicked it. And this is what this about. Men not gonna agree with everything, and we're gonna come to some conversation. They gonna be smooth, and some of them gonna be rocky.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when we tap in, when I want to have a conversation, let's tap in without our emotions attached to it, and kick. You know what I'm saying? To just really kick it, bro, because everybody can build that way. So with that being said, man, I'm gone. I appreciate everybody tapped in the comments. Everybody was on the panel. Salute, man. It's all love. I love knowledge, so I love brothers who are gonna kick this knowledge. You know what I'm saying? It's better than the drama. You feel me? So yeah, man, come back again, man, because it's gonna be on tomorrow. Something different.
Love, I'm gonna bring some references and books and shit to where it don't seem like I thought niggas was just having a conversation, shooting the shit.
No, I'm saying I'm asking you to do that for the people that's listening. Yeah, we know what's up. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I know. You don't have to give it to me. I know. They know too. But the people that's listening, that's why I said that. You know what I'm saying? You dropping a lot of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And they probably like, where am I finding that at? Where you get that from? You feel me?
Yeah. But also you gotta understand that man knows not by being told, man. So don't believe what nobody telling you. You gotta go do some research and search this shit yourself.
That part. That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. I'm out, man. Salute, man. It's been Neighborhood Real, man. Y'all subscribe, man, and tap back in. More knowledge. Peace.